bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Y'all, welcome and happy Friday. It's your boy Chris. Hold on, I got to move the microphone in my mouth. What's going on? It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode. Happy Friday, by the way, to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Haven't said that in a while because I haven't been here on a Friday, because work and stuff. But I did work earlier, so now that's why I'm here late doing a late show. So yes, so we are here. We got a great show for y'all. Got a lot of topics to get to. I got to talk about this Rosalia Lux album that came out today. I got to give you my review on that. We got to talk about these Grammy nominations because I actually forgot that they were coming out. It's funny. I was talking about it a lot of times this week that the Grammys was coming out. And then I've totally forgotten until someone reminded me. It was like, oh, wait, they're announcing the Grammy nominations. I was like, oh. So I had to get all that ready. So we're going to talk about that and the snubs and the surprises and all that. Plus, you probably saw David Harbour and Millie Bobby Brown giving a united front amid all these rumors that was going around that they were going at, like they weren't getting along and all this other stuff. Even Sean Levy had to come out and debunk a lot of these rumors that are floating around regarding any kind of trouble on the set. So we'll get into that. Katy Perry dropped her new single Bandaids and the music video and seems to be addressing the reason why she split from Orlando Bloom. Like, come on now. Everybody, even Helen Keller could have told you she was talking about him. They were trying to say he was being vague. They weren't. If you actually paid attention to the lyrics, you can clearly see who she was addressing in the video and in the song. So we'll get into that. Plus, Kim Kardashian apparently is clapping back at all the negative reviews from All's Fair that has been coming out, the 0% on Rotten Tomatoes and all of that. And so we'll get into that. Raven-Symoné is finally sharing her opinion on this whole Bill Cosby sexual assault allegations and what she had to say on that. She went on Jamie Kennedy's podcast. So we'll get into that. Jeremy Renner is out here being a hot ass mess. Apparently, he threatened to call ICE on I guess one of his business partners or somebody he was working with in the industry and was sending inappropriate pictures and things. So we'll get into that too. And Diddy out here drinking in prison and got caught. So we got to talk about that. We also got to talk about this recent report coming out regarding the fact that they said that half of LGBTQ characters on TV are being canceled. There was a lot of talk about a lot of shows featuring gay characters were getting canceled. Well, now there was a whole report on it, and it seems like there's been a lot of talk and that sort of thing. So we'll get into that story. Plus, also, if y'all will probably, I'm sure a majority of you have probably seen the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills trailer by now. Well, apparently they're addressing the fact that Kyle Richards seems to have finally come out as a bisexual. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more. But before we get to those topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button if you haven't already. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that when we go, when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, I already see like the situation is going up. We got like so far over 303K subscribers. So shout out to all of y'all, all the new people that are in the building, of course, and all the old heads and everybody in between, who supports this messy show. I would not be able to do it without all of y'all eyes on this channel and a lot of y'all commentary during the live stream. So, and y'all already know what to do. Keep it coming. Let me see what's going on. No, it's a late show. Hello, Renumbria. Robert said, "Happy I was gonna say CODF, COADF 20 for those who celebrate." Yeah, I was celebrating. I was listening to a lot of music today. Like, there was a lot of DJ mixes that dropped. There was a David Morales DJ mix that dropped today that had me in my feelings, like working out of the gym furiously. Then it was another one from who else was it? Louis Vega. Then there was what was it? I think I said Frankie Knuckles already. There was a bunch of DJ mixes. Plus, we got the Confessions on the Dance Floor 20th anniversary. Listen to it because I was like, I want to see if they actually. Child, it's the full-on original version from the CD. Plus, they had all they had Fighting Spirit and History and some of the, they had the Pet Shop Boys remix of Sorry. there's a lot of stuff that was on there. I was like, it's cute. I heard some people complain. They were talking about there were other songs that were supposed to be on Confessions of a Dance Floor that never made the cut that they wanted them to put on there. But maybe they just, were demos and Madonna just wasn't feeling like maybe those songs felt dated or something or another. And they weren't trying to spend money to remix songs that were old because that will cost money. So I like what they put out. I'm excited that they put it out on digital. I was listening to it. Plus, I was listening to the Rosalia album. We're going to get into that review. I also went to go see Predator Badlands. Please, people, go see this movie this weekend. It is one of the best movies I've seen all year. I've been a lot of movies. I had so much fun watching the movie. A lot of action, really cool backstory when it comes to the Predator and his family and what his mission is and how he encounters Elle Fanning's character and it's like a buddy comedy almost. There is comedic moments in the show, in the film. Then there's like this whole buddy dynamic. I'm gonna get more into it on Monday's show because I want to give people a chance to watch it and then I can just like give my overall thoughts. But it is a good film from the opening sequence even down to the crawl that comes on in the beginning, which is similar to like how Superman, new Superman movie comes on with the wording and everything before, and then it kind of goes into this doom thing in the opening. Uh, I was locked in from the beginning. It's a lot of action. I love like he doesn't even speak English in the whole film. He speaks his native language throughout, and then of course, the whole wailing. Oh, oh, yeah, that's my phone. Hold on. The whole Wayland Utani connection and all that other stuff and how it kind of sets itself up for a sequel. I was like, child, I'm here for it. So I need y'all to run to and go see this damn movie so that way we can get a part two. Because it is a good film. And then we'll talk about like the box office numbers and all the other stuff on Monday. But for the most part, it was like October was dry as hell, except for Black Phone 2, which y'all can actually watch at home now. But November, it looks like it's gonna be a good month. We got Wicked for Good coming out, which is getting rave reviews. What's the other film? The Running Man is actually getting good reviews. The reviews have dropped there. That's good, getting good reviews. It's been a lot of good reviews with Predator Badlands. Also, it got a great, I think it was like a 90% score on Rotten Tomatoes, I believe. It might have gone up. So seems like it's gonna be a good month for movies. And is there an animated movie coming out too? I think. I forget which one, but yeah, there's a movie coming out. As far as Avatar, I don't particularly care. I don't think I'm going to be seeing that, but there have been rumors floating around, and I saw that another article was another story that was picked up that they're going to be dropping Avengers Doomsday trailer if you go see Avatar. But I'm not a real big Avatar fan. Like they're pretty to look at, but the story is so corny and convoluted. I just don't care enough. Like it's not one of those movies that like usually if I watch a movie, I always feel like, is it something like of that magnitude? Is it something that I would want to watch over and over and over and over again and just enjoy it every time I watch it? No, I've never felt that about those films. But this part of the Badlands movie, like literally after I finished watching, I'm like, damn, I kind of want to I want to kind of get a ticket and see it again. But I had things to do and I had to, I had a lot of stuff to do. So I couldn't just be hanging out at the damn movies all day. So Um, it's definitely a movie I want to try to see again in the theaters before they take it out because you already know by December, you'll be able to watch Predator Badlands at home the way they drop these goddamn movies. Mateo Lane's all right. I don't think he's particularly funny, but he's cute to look at. That's about it. You also drag Taylor Swift, but if Rosalia can't top her on iTunes, wait, what? It seems Madonna might be able to because of how impactful the album actually was and the fact that the continuous version, well, we'll see who does what. Rosalia's album is actually good, it's critically acclaimed. Who knows if she'll be able to surpass Taylor. I just don't like this whole cock blocking shit that she does. When every time a female contemporary releases a new album, she wants to release a different variant of that record. It's like, girl, you had a whole month to yourself where you could just release stuff. And I hate the fact that people feel like they can't um release music. Why can't they release music without worrying, oh well, Taylor Swift has this big machine. pun intended, because remember, she was on the label Big Machine. She got this big machine behind her that it's like, oh, you got to wait 6 months to drop a record. Fuck that. I should not have to wait a whole month and a half, 2 months for that pandemonium to die down so that way I can get a piece of the pie. It's just greedy. And then you have to release like 89,000 different versions. It's like, for why? You don't have enough money? And also ruining the whole vinyl experience for people who don't have the luxury of just printing out so many copies. You said 90, oh, you said 96 Rotten Tomatoes score for new Predator movie. Well, and it's well deserved because, like, from beginning to end, the movie is like full of action. It was giving me anime vibes. It was just like it felt like a big swords and samurai type film. The action sequences, the fight sequences was really cool. Seeing how stubborn this Predator is and how these people are in their world and the way it ended. It was just like it was just a good movie. And Waylon Utani, you always know they up to no damn good. Cleveland says hello, everyone. I hope they all are too. I think after this, I'm gonna probably try to see that new Frankenstein movie because I know it's on Netflix. But I was like, I gotta do a show because it was too much tea that came out today. I was like, damn, I gotta rush home and put a show together and take it from there. But anyway, let me hit my banner because I almost forgot to do that. I was like, I almost forgot to hit the thing to sort out because so we could see the comments in there. But anyway, let's get in our first topic and let's talk about this Rosalia album review. So I listened to the album and I forgot before I went live that I was supposed to actually look in my notes to see or write in my notes what were my favorite songs off the record. But I forgot to do that. So let's just say I listened to the album and honestly, wait, hold on, because I actually believe that what I did was I wrote my overall thoughts on my Facebook page. So let me scroll on down to see where that is. And I have to say that I thoroughly enjoyed the album. I think by 2027, because again, for 2026, the album just came out and the Grammy nominations just came out. So when it's time for the 2027 Grammy nominations, I'm really hoping that Rosalia will be a part of the conversation for album of the year and getting all the accolades that Bad Bunny is getting for this current album that he has out now. So, after listening to it, I was just like, I was in my damn feelings. I was not expecting that literally maybe 4 times listen to the record. I actually started crying. I'm like, wait a minute, why am I getting emotional? Because it just had me literally all up in my damn feelings. And honestly do not think that listening to music I've ever been overwhelmed with emotion. I usually get like that now when I watch movies during certain scenes or whatever the case is, if it's like a sad moment or whatever. But I think from like how operatic it felt at times and the orchestra and just the way that she was emoting with her vocals and then speaking in all the different languages and things. And then I think like even with the production, like, and I could totally see why she had Bjork in the album with I'm trying to remember what's the name of the song she had. I think it's called Bergane. When she had Bjork on that song, I was like, I could totally see why she incorporated Bjork in this album because it reminded me a lot of Bjork's music when she started going more into like orchestra stuff. The first time I think she really got into like the orchestra and everything might have been during Bachelorette and might have been during the Post album. Like I think when she was using a lot of those elements. And but more so, like when you would listen to albums like Medulla, she would kind of experiment in that way. Like when she was working with Matmos and he was producing a lot of her work, was just using like the voices of women in choirs and things and turning that into like a beat or things like that. I always like when they try to find unconventional ways of making music and it kind of had like those electronic elements that was added in within the orchestra and everything. So the album definitely gives Bjorkish vibes when I was listening to it. And that's why I was just like, it's so weird to me that I was getting all up in my feelings and stuff about it. So, this is her first album since she released Motomami. And I just love the aspect of how she had incorporated a lot of that avant-garde classical pop, and then just bringing different things in there. Like, of course, with like the Nuns Habit, she said that she didn't want to go into this whole thing about the after all the success that came with Motomami, and then of course her relationship with Raul Alejandro, who she was engaged to, and then they ended up splitting up, and they would collaborate on a lot of music. They even did an EP together at one point. Um, she would just basically like, I just didn't want to go in that direction. So basically, what I did was I just decided to kind of lock in and do all these other different sounds. So I got more into like, I guess you were just like reading these poems and things and stories from nuns, and decided to incorporate a lot of those stories into her work. So that's when you get a lot of like the different genres, that feeling of romance, bringing in the religious aspect and things in her music. That's probably why Madonna loves it so much. And then I think also when they said that she incorporated the London Symphony Orchestra, then she also used Catalan choirs. She does speak Catalan. And also she collaborated with Noah Goldstein and Dylan Wiggins on the music. She also had Pharrell on the record, which probably makes sense because, well, Pharrell actually did work with Hormonal Mommy, the song and the album. And then Caroline Shaw had some arrangements up in there. She worked with a lot of different people. But and I just think like regardless of all the other things that was in there, excuse me, her voice definitely remains at the center of it all. So I feel like even in the beginning, like when I first started getting in my feelings was when I listened to the first track, which is Sexo Violencia y Llantas, and getting into that. And then I was trying to think, what's the other songs I like? I liked Porcelana. I also liked Berghain with Bjork and Eve's Tumor. La Perla was also another one. Mundo Nuevo, I love that song too, but that song was too damn short. I needed that to be a little longer. Dios es un stalker, that was another one that got me in my damn feelings. Sauvignon Blanc, I mean, I do like the wine, but it's cute. So literally, like from the beginning to the end, I love the record. I just love. I don't know. It's probably going to take a lot for me. I'm going to have to be in a special. Like I hate when certain songs or albums get me in my feelings, but I think that's what we want from a lot of the artists that we love, or just music in general. You want it to invoke a sort of feeling, and I don't know if I was ready to be in my feelings about this record. And it's funny because when I was reading up on the record, like if you have iTunes or Apple Music or whatever, I'd say Apple Music. Rosalia gets in a way where it's like they write out a whole situation where they talk to the artists and they break down the songs and ask them what were they thinking when they were coming up with the music. She even said that she didn't think she was ready to kind of create this record, and that there were moments that she would break down in tears when she was creating it. So, sis, you literally the emotions you was trying to bring forth in a lot of what you was doing, which I think is what also got her criticized heavily over some of the things that she was when she criticized Bad Bunny over not speaking in different languages where people could understand. I just feel like even if you create music that people don't understand, the thing that I always feel like what makes music such a powerful tool is the fact that you can convey a lot of those messages through feeling and music and different. So it's like because music always gives me different emotions and stuff, even if I don't understand what the hell the people saying. And I told you I listen to all types of music. So um hearing all of that and then seeing how she would bring up things about love and desire and euphoric situations, I do wonder what her situation will be in regards to like, because I know she's gonna be on the next season of Euphoria. Remember, once upon a time, she used to date Dylan, not Dylan Schaefer, Hunter Schaefer. I'm thinking of Dylan Mulvaney and Hunter Schaefer, two trans girls, and I combined them both. But I was like, at one point, yes, Rosalia, once upon a time, dated Hunter Schaefer. So that had to be interesting that they were on, that whole situation. And funny enough, maybe this also played into her feelings regarding creating this record. She was actually about to start work on her new album on Lux, right around the time that she and Raul Alejandro ended their engagement. Because remember, at one point they were going to get married, and so on the record, she definitely goes on this journey of heartbreak and recovery, and blows it up because she was basically like, I don't need to get married. Like you don't. I don't know. Some people always feel like that marriage is the always the end goal and stuff like that. And maybe marriage is not for everyone. Or this is the good thing you nipped it in the bud before it went down. But she basically called in the songs emotional terrorists. So I'm sitting there wondering, were there things about Raul Alejandro, were there like red flags where you're equating him as an emotional terrorist? And um I mean, you know what also this album reminded me of? And I'm kind of wishing that she would come back and make music. It gave me Fiona Apple vibes. And one of the things is I used to love me some Fiona Apple back in the day. Remember when she came out with that album with that long ass title? So it definitely gave me Fiona Apple vibes. It gave me Bjork vibes. Like it just seemed like a lot of the women that clearly she grew up with, she incorporated a lot of those sounds on her music. And I know Madonna was out here recently, even before the record drops. I don't know how she got it, but I guess, the industry things pass around. But she basically said that this album is amazing. Like she loves the record. She was praising Rosalia down. I know she wants to work with her, but I feel like Madonna, please just heavily focus on you being the centerpiece of your new album. Leave the collaborations and everything alone for now. Like if you want to do that down the road on remixes, whatever, then that'd be cute. Or an extended version of the album, your new album, then yes. But now it's like no, I just want you front and center. And now it kind of makes me wonder, is like her listening to Lux, will that inspire her for her upcoming album? Because I know she is still working on it. So it is definitely a record that I think a lot of people should check out. Like as it was stated before, I don't think it'll break big records. It probably won't even dethrone Taylor Swift, who always feels the need to release a new damn version or variant of her album every time somebody releases new music. But it is definitely a record I highly recommend. And I'm even gonna go on the record and say this, in my opinion, is my choice of album of the year. There's really been a lot of there's been a couple of good records that came out this year, but there hasn't been a lot of standouts. Like I feel like 2025 has been a fairly dry album release year. There's been some good songs, but nothing that really just like really sticks to your core. And this album did, because it definitely felt like my soul was levitating listening to this album. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Have you listened to Rosalia's new album Lux? What are your overall thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. Lux was beautiful, beautifully written, and beautifully produced. I'm interested to see how the Latin market Rosalia depends on. No shade will respond. This album is definitely for yeah, that's what I think it was. It was like it's an alternative record. It's not like your standard Latin record. It's not like some reggaeton heavy record or whatever. It's definitely got alternative vibes. Like it fits in the same category. It was like a Lorde and things of that nature, who, by the way, was snubbed for a Grammy. But we're about to get into that in a second. So when the pawn hit, not you putting the damn thing in there. When the pawn hits the conflicts, he thinks like a king. What he knows throws no blood. I was like, look, and it goes on more than that. I love how Fiona made the title of an album a poem. Hmm. I know that irritated a lot of people too, but she's a Virgo. We're entitled to annoy, or we tend to annoy a lot. The same people that mindlessly buy everything their favorite artist puts out are the same people who don't go on. Well, that's probably what it is. They're not going out and dating and having a life or whatever. So I'm just going to spend my coins on, you know, buying merch. Lord. Okay, so now let's move on to our next topic. Let's get into some Grammy news. So the Grammy Awards nominations were dropped today, which we all said was going to happen on November 7th. And yeah, so all 95 categories have been unveiled, and the list is packed with big names. So we have um, Kendrick Lamar, Bad Bunny, and Lady Gaga lead the pack as the nominees for the 68th Annual Grammy Awards, which were announced earlier today. After winning Song on Record of the Year for Not Like Us earlier this year, Lamar led all nominees for 2026 with 9, including Album of the Year for GNX. He'll also compete for Song and Record of the Year again, this time for his hit collaboration with SZA, which is called Luther. And by the way, SZA said, even though she also, wasn't she the one that just got into it with Nicki Minaj? Well, SZA, who said she don't know her, I guess she channeling Mariah Carey. She's talking about she's finally working on new music. Now, Lady Gaga was right behind Lamar, picking up 7 nominations. Then we also wasn't it a whole big prediction that yeah, Gaga was going to be out here getting nominated, while Bad Bunny has 6. Gaga was nominated for the in the 3 big categories: album, song, and record of the year for Mayhem and Abracadabra, while Bad Bunny picked up his second album of the year nod for I Should Have Taken More Photos, as well as his first nod as lead artist for Song of the Year and the year for DTMF. He was previously nominated in the latter category for I Like It with Cardi B and J Balvin. Sabrina Carpenter and Leon Thomas also picked up 6 nominations each, which I don't understand why Sabrina released one of the most boring albums of 2025. And that tour is just as boring as that record. But if y'all like it, I love it. So we're just gonna keep moving on. And both will compete in Album of the Year too for Man's Best Friend and Mutt, respectively. Other nominees in that category include Justin Bieber's Swag, Clips's Let God Sort 'Em Out, which shout out to Clips. I'm actually excited that they're getting nominated. Justin Bieber, child, for why? But if y'all like it, I love it. And Tyler Creator's Chromacopia, even though he released new music, but Chromacopia, I guess, is still a relatively new record. He did release the album again with I think like one new song on it. And I listened to the Chromacopia album with the new music added. I liked it. I like Tyler Creator, even though, them controversies about his behind has been plaguing him as of late. In Record of the Year, Luther, Abracadabra, and DTMF will be up against Carpenter's Man Child, Doshi's Anxiety, Billie Eilish's Wildflower, Chappell Roan's The Subway, and Rose and Bruno Mars's Ah Pata Pata. I did see an article or something or another that stated, but it's Rolling Stone. And the thing with Rolling Stone, they want you, I guess, to pay to read their damn articles. I'm not paying money to read y'all damn articles. I was trying to find ways around it, but they were trying to, they mentioned something or another about why the girls of Blackpink can't get nominated for Best New Artist in the solo category. I'm like, first of all, why would they even be considered for nomination in the solo category when y'all released music prior as a group? So y'all not new. So why would y'all even get nominated in as solo acts in the new artist category? Cat's Eye is relatively new, so they would get a nomination before them. But then again, like I said, I did say solo. So now speaking of Cat's Eye, they are mentioning the next thing. So oh wait, they also said in Song of the Year will boast Abracadabra, Anxiety, Apata Pata. And Luther, Manchild, Wildflower, and Golden, the breakout track from K-pop Demon Hunters. Rounding out the big 4 categories, Best New Artist is set to feature Olivia Dean, Cat's Eye, The Marias, Addison Rae. Yeah, Addison got nominated. I know she's happy. Because didn't we hear like she was crying over the fact she didn't get no VMA nominations? Somber, Thomas, Alex Warren, and Lola Young. Of those nominees, only Cat's Eye, Thomas, and Young received nominations in the other Grammy categories. Now, Lamar will certainly be favored to build off the recent Grammy success of Not Like Us, which means Drake ain't coming. And if he manages to win Album of the Year, GNX will become the first rap album to win the night's biggest prize since Outkast's Speaker Box Love Below in 2023. The rapper has also found himself on a Beyonce level streak, a repeated Album of the Year nominations, but no wins. This is his sixth time nominated for the big prize, having earned nods for every solo album he's released since Good Kid, Mad City, as well as one for the Black Panther soundtrack LP. The one thing about that is the only person I feel like that stands in his way for album of the year would be Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny and Kendrick have had great years. Their albums are impeccable. I like both albums. I like Bad Bunny's album more, slightly more than I like Kendrick's, but they both had successful tours. They both had successful album runs. So I really feel like Kendrick's biggest competition right now would be Bad Bunny. And I would like to see Kendrick win, but on the other hand, kind of want Bad Bunny to win. Only one for the culture, and number two, because the piss of Donald Trump and Ice. Because y'all, they got this. I mean, even though I don't know why we even got to worry about, or this man even has to have an opinion on the music industry. You need to be worrying about trying to get this country to reopen. So, um, I was like, where was I? They also said that his competitors are equally overdue for Album of the Year win. Lady Gaga has been nominated for the prize 4 times. While this is Bieber's third time being nominated, Gaga is a highly decorated Grammy winner with 14 prizes to her name, but she hasn't won a major prize in her career. Similarly, neither has Bieber, though he has only won 2 Grammys. I think Bieber is getting heavily nominated. They're going to have him show up, but I don't even think he's going to win anything. Like, I don't think that people are actually going to root for this swag record and he'll actually win a bunch of awards. Maybe he'll get one or two of them or whatever. But as far as like album of the year, I definitely don't see Bieber walking home with that. I honestly don't think Lady Gaga is going to walk home with that. Speaking of which, instead of me doing that, I did pull up this thing over on Facebook, which I was trying to keep the damn things from opening up, but people keep sending me freaking messages and stuff on Facebook. So I had this open on Facebook so that way we could have a slide because I did not feel like putting these damn pictures in. Let me take that out so y'all can see it. Hopefully you can. So we have Album of the Year, which would be Bad Bunny, Justin Bieber, Sabrina Carpenter, Clips, Pusha T, and Malice, which make up Clips, obviously, Kendrick Lamar, Tyler the Creator, Leon Thomas, and Mayhem. Album of the Year, honestly, as much as I love Pusha, I love Clips, I love Kendrick, but I wanted to, like I said before, I wanted to go to Bad Bunny. I don't see Mayhem getting the Album of the Year. No shade, but Mayhem was more mayhem than mayhem. It was not a really good, fully realized, complete record. It felt like there were outside of Abracadabra, none of the songs. I mean, I don't even think Abracadabra charted as high as she wanted it to. The tour, in my opinion, supersedes the record. But as far as like the album as a whole, the album is okay. There are songs on the album that I can listen to, but fully all like from beginning to middle and end, like from beginning to end, no, I can't. It's just not giving me what I need in regards of sonically what she was promising with this record. I was not getting industrial. I was not getting that dark pop vibe. There's certain songs on the album that gives that, and she plays up the goth chick thing. It feels a little cosplay-ish. But for the most part, the record is no, it's not. It's not album of the year worthy. Song of the year, Abracadabra. Then we have Anxiety. We have Op, Apata. Is it apartment or then we got Bad Bunny. Then we got Kendrick Lamar, Golden from that K-pop damn Demon Hunters. I feel like that shit is just so overexposed, even though we're getting a sequel in 2027. Wildfire by Billie Eilish, Manchild by Sabrina Carpenter. Who I think is probably going to win that might go to Abracadabra because that was one of the big hype songs or whatever. I would give it to Bad Bunny, but to be honest, I think they'll probably give that to Gaga. Best New Artist, we have Olivia Dean, we have Cat's Eye, we have the Marias, we have Addison Rae, Somber, Leon Thomas, Alex Warren, Lola Young. Lola Young been a hot ass mess, so I don't even know if they're gonna give it to her. This girl be passing out on stage. She had to quit music because every time she get on stage, she falling over. So I don't know what's going on with her. Alex Warren, don't know him. Somber, I'm not really familiar with his music, even though I know he's like the biggest thing since sliced bread now. The Marias, I couldn't name one song they've done. Olivia Dean, so I actually worked something where she was the opening act. I can't remember, but that name sounds familiar. Cat's Eye is actually coming to Madison Square Garden, but they're doing the theater. Um, I think next week. I can't remember. I don't have my calendar in front of me. So they're going to be performing. But I heard some people say that Cat's Eye, good group. They like them. The songs ain't really doing it. Leon Thomas, I like him. No, I kind of want to give it to Addison Ray though. Because she's that TikTok girl that kind of transition into music. And we have people that have been doing that where they kind of go from social media to getting into the music game. And I could definitely see her walking away with that. But they might give her the cat's eye. Who knows? Record of the year, Bad Bunny, Sabrina Carpenter, Doechii, Billie Eilish, well, Wildflower, Kendrick Lamar, Luther with SZA, Rose, Bruno Mars, that same damn song, Chaperone the Subway, Lady Gaga, Abracadabra. So I don't know. I could either go to Gaga or it could probably go to Bad Bunny again. So it's either or. Or they might even throw in Kendrick. But I don't even know if people was really talking about that song that much. Billie Eilish kind of been off doing her own thing. She's kind of really been forgotten, no shade. But yeah, and that man child song, it's so convoluted and so annoying. So they might give it to them. But then they said in here they have the list of total Grammy nominees. Kendrick Lamar with 9. Then we have Circuit, Jack Antonoff, and Lady Gaga with 7. Bad Bunny, Leon Thomas, Sabrina Carpenter, Serban Jania, I think is how you say his name, and Andrew, well, with 6. Andrew Watt, who was everywhere now, he did produce some songs off of Gaga's album. Also, Word on the Street is he's working with Madonna on her new album. But he works with a lot of people. So we have Andrew Watt, Clips, Doechii, Soundwave, SZA, Turnstile, and Tyler the Creator with 5 nominations. So yeah, so that's basically it so far. I was only trying to see if we have anything else to add to this. They said other surprises scattered throughout the genre fields include 5 nominations for Baltimore hardcore favorites Turnstile for their latest LP Never Enough, as well as 4 Paramore's Haley Williams for her latest Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party. Country star Tyler Childers will have another chance to win his first Grammy, earning 4 nominations for his latest LP, Snipe Hunter. Funny enough, I heard that country music's not really doing that well in regards to the Grammy categories. So the next year's Grammy categories will also see the introduction of a few categories, including Best Album Cover. Nominees include Tyler's Chromacopia, Joe's The Crux, Bad Bunny's album, Perfume Genius Glory, and Wet Legs Moisturizer. There will also be some changes to the country category. Well, that's because y'all want to move the goalposts every time somebody comes in and tries to reinvent the wheel of country. And y'all did that when it was Beyonce. So now they want to split Best Country Album into Best Contemporary Country Album and Best Traditional Country Album. Because what they were trying to say was Beyonce's album wasn't traditional country. Yeah, it wasn't boring. That's why it wasn't traditional. And then the latter category features one or of the more interesting matchups of 2022. I mean 2020, excuse me, 6 too. Willie Nelson against his own son, Lucas. So I want to see best. I want to look at electronic because I want to see who they got in that. Also, Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande got nominated in Best Pop Duo or Group Performance. So shout out to them. Okay, best dance pop recording. So we have Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco, Blue as Flame. First of all, there was nothing dance pop about that album. Lady Gaga, Abracadabra, Zara Larson, Midnight Sun, Tate McRae, Just Keep Watching. Well, she just got busted lip syncing at her damn show by holding the microphone upside down when she put it to her lips. And Pink Pantheress, Illegal. First of all, I love Illegal. I'm obsessed with that song. That song alone should get it. And all the other songs, Abracadabra is standard Gaga. Zara Larson, I do love this album, but I don't know. I don't see her winning. Tate McRae, no. But Pink Pantheress, I would like it to go to her, but more than likely it'll probably go to Gaga. Let me see. Oh, so we have best dance electronic album, and so I just want to get through the dance stuff, and then we can get up off this. FKA Twigs, You Sexual, Fred Again, 10 Days, Pink Pantheress, Fancy That, Rufus Du Sol, Inhale, Exhale, and Skrillex, Fuck You, Skrillex, You Think You're Andy Warhol, but you're not. And that's a funny title for an album. um, there's so many good records. Pink Pantheress, Love Fancy That. Rufus Du Sol, oh my God, that was Inhale, Exhale. That's a really good dance electronic album. Check that out if you can. Oh my God, what's the name of that? Did Justice release a new album? I mean, an album or something around that same time? I thought they would have been nominated. We'll give it to FKA Twigs because to me, that is, and if we're talking about best dance electronic album and how experimental it was, I would give it to Twigs. Although I did like Pink Panther's record and Rufus Du Sol's record. I don't really listen to Skrillex's album, so I don't know. And Fred Again, I can't remember that album. I may have to check that one out. Now, Best Dance Electronic Recording, Disclosure and Anderson Paak, No Cap, Fred Again, Skepta and Plaque, Boy Max, Victory Lap, K Tronada, Space Invaders, Skrillex, Voltage, and Tame Impala, End of Summer. Tame Impala is cool, but nobody's really caring about that record. I don't know there was a lot of mixed reviews in regards of that. Skrillex Voltage, can't remember what that song sounds like. K Tronada, I love K Tronada, but sir, your music is starting to sound a little too repetitive. I would probably give it a Disclosure Anderson Paak if I was, uh, a betting man. Then I saw it Best Rock Song. They have Nine Inch Nails as Alive as You Need Me to Be. There's other ones in there. I don't care what the other songs is. Give it to Nine Inch Nails because I do love that song. But for the most part, that's all I got to say on that. So yeah, that's what we have so far. Those are the Grammy nominations. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. But also, before we even get into the Grammy nominations, put that in. Let's get to the snubs. And this is going to be a long one. So the snubs and surprises came on out. And, there's been a lot of people who had like great chart success. They've had really good years, I guess, with touring and all that other stuff. But apparently, they didn't care enough to give them the nominations, like Lorde, Gracie Abrams, and Megan Maroney. Also, um, Benson Boone got snubbed. And now they were talking about like someone from like Wicked and K-pop Demon Hunters got more love. And so let's go through them. So they mentioned Lorde being snubbed. Lorde returned to the spotlight, as y'all know, with her fourth studio album, Virgin. I did work her tour. Her new tour, the one that she's currently on, it was a good show. She's definitely a great performer, very, in tune with a lot of, very energetic, a lot very in tune with her emotions and everything, and just like how she put the show together, it's very captivating. But apparently, I guess maybe they just didn't feel that the music was compelling enough to get a Grammy nomination, so she ended up getting overlooked. I wonder if they can nominate the album next year. That's what I'd be cool. I'm curious about. The new album's lead single, "What Was That," reached the top 40 on the Billboard Hot 100, while second single, "Man of the Year," sparked a viral TikTok trend. Virgin reached number 2 on the Billboard 200 albums chart and marked a sonic return to form for the New Zealand artist, earning critical acclaim. Upon hitting the scene with the hit song "Royals" and its accompanying album "Pure Heroin" more than a decade ago, Lorde won 2 Grammys at the 2014 ceremony and later earned an Album of the Year nomination for her second album, 2018's Melodrama. Now, Solar Power received mixed reviews in 2021, underperformed commercially, and didn't receive any Grammy nominations. And many fans likely expected Lorde to get back in the Recording Academy's good graces with Virgin, but the album did not get any nominations. So I guess they wasn't feeling it. Now, speaking of somebody who actually got in the good graces of the Grammys after kind of going back and forth with them for years, even removing his music from being up for Grammy nominations, but still got snubbed once he you know, let bygones be bygones. The Weeknd. So the Weeknd had an interesting relationship, as y'all know. He got his first nomination in 2014 and then took two awards in 2016 for his Beauty Behind the Madness album and for the single Earned It, plus another in 2018 for Starboy. In 2021, you heard, you may not remember, or maybe you do, but he announced that he was boycotting the Grammys and called the award show corrupt for lack of transparency behind the scenes. That year, he also declared he no longer allowed his record label to submit his music to the award show. But then he showed up at the Grammys this past February with a performance for his song Cry for Me and Timeless. Then his record label announced several submissions for The Weeknd, who released his sixth album, Hurry Up Tomorrow, and an accompanying film starring Jenna Ortega and Barry Keoghan. Nobody went and saw the movie. Nobody cared about that album, although I heard that his recent stadium tour was excellent. So, but he got no nominations for the 2026 Grammy Awards. The next one, Gracie Abrams. She's been all over the place this year. I think she sold out two nights at Madison Square Garden, and that's pretty major for someone of her, of her stature. And she's been playing a lot of festivals. Speaking of, performing, and then she's been doing the arenas, like I just mentioned with MSG. So, and then her song "So That's So True" was a big. It went viral on TikTok, and it was huge on radio, and it's from the deluxe version of her "The Secret of Us" album, and reached #1 in the Billboard Hot 100. She also was nominated for Best New Artist at the 2024 Grammys and earned a nod for Us with Taylor Swift in the Best Pop Duo/Group Performance category. However, she didn't receive any nominations at the Grammys this year. Now, let's get into Benson Boone, because, speaking of people, because he performed also this past February at the Grammys, flipping all over the damn place like a damn bunny rabbit. He was up for Best New Artist at the Grammys this past February, where he joined fellow nominees Doechii, Teddy Swim, Shabuzi, Ray, and Khruangbin for a special medley of their hits. Then after that, he dropped a new album called American Heart, went on tour. The tour is actually pretty good. Like I did work his show also. Show was pretty interesting. He's very energetic on stage, sings down. There's no lip syncing that come out of him. He's singing live. That mic is on, and he's running around like a bunny rabbit on stage. But he's 23, so he can do all of that for now. He's always flipping and everything. Then at one point he kind of glides or hangs, basically rides through the arena on top of a chandelier, which was relatively interesting. I was like, okay, this is giving behind the candelabra tease, but okay. And so he performs his heart out. But to be honest, I always feel like the performance exceeds the music. I don't really get full on none of his music stands out. It's like you can perform it live and it probably sounds good live because you're the band and he sells it with his singing and a lot of the showmanship and everything. But to be honest, I just feel like he needs to work with someone that can really put him like you need a Dan Nigro. Like he needs somebody like Olivia Rodrigo has Dan Nigro, Chaperone has Dan Nigro. There's so many other of the girls that have like that producer that really elevates their ideas and brings it to life with the music. He needs that producer and that songwriter, somebody that can help him really stand out. Because it's like, yeah, you give Freddie Mercury vibes, you give all the other stuff, like you no shade, but it feels like you're eating Harry Styles nachos. That's what it gives when it comes to him reheating. So look, nothing magical or mystical about the fact that he didn't get any nominations. So there's that. Or maybe what it is also is like he has this great personality. Like he's great with the showmanship, but who are you as a musician? What is it that you actually have to say that causes you to stand out? Yeah, you're this vibrant, performer, and you have your little signature flips that you be doing, which quiet as it's kept. It's cute you can do all that now, but you got to think when you get to be John Bon Jovi age, if you plan on doing it when you get to that point, would you be able to continue to be up there doing all them flips and things? You can't be relying on that as a gimmick if you plan on going at it for the long haul. Yeah, it's cute now, but it's literally becoming like you having to do that on your shows, kind of like how Ellen got stuck always having to dance when she had that talk show. Now they also bring up Megan Maroney, who was a country artist, and she has a song called Tennessee Orange from her 2024 album Am I Okay? So yeah, but despite all the songs and everything that she has, she also didn't receive any nominations, and she did, put them up for the eligibility period. Now they also bring up Role Model, who had a breakthrough year in 2025 with a deluxe version of his album Kansas Anymore, featuring the inescapable viral hit Sally When the Wine Runs Out. He performed the song on tour with Gracie Abrams, as well as at festivals and his own headlining shows, bringing out Grammy winners like Olivia Rodrigo and Charlie XCX, plus past nominees including Troye Sivan and Louis Capaldi as his Sally on stage. Despite the buzz, Role Model didn't land any nominations for the 2026 Grammy. Is that, or they're going to say at every end of the sentence? Now, they also brought up the surprises, which I also mentioned before. Wicked getting three nominated. Well, I didn't mention the three nominations. I did say pop vocal duo group, whatever that shit is called. So yeah, they were nominated for that. But they got best compilation soundtrack for visual media and best score soundtrack for visual media, which includes film and TV. Its third nomination, which they said was a shocker, was for the song Defying Gravity, which got a nomination for Best Pop Duo / Group Performance. Despite it technically being a show tune, because that's why I'm like, that's weird. Why would you put a show tune up against Rose and Bruno Mars' Ah Pata Pata and Cat's Eyes Gabriella? We moved the goalposts so we can just get Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo to show up. Okay. And possibly perform this song. Is this what we doing, Grammys? So, but they also said that maybe the loophole is since the song reached top 40 in both US adult pop airplay and US pop airplay charts, that's probably the loophole they're using as to why it was nominated in that category. Because if you're doing top 40 radio, then I guess. Then we have K-pop Diva Hunters, which is getting all the is all the rage right now. It's heavily hyped. Everybody loves it. Apparently, me, I've always been the type of person that when it comes down to um something that has been overly hyped and blown up and is like this big thing, I won't get into it. But I can't get into it. Or maybe I just rebel and it's like I rebuke thee. I try to go against it. And then when it comes down to it, I think when all the stuff dies down, all the hype and the pandemonium, then I'm like, okay, let me see what this K-pop Demon Hunters is all about. But yes, I haven't watched it yet. It's like usually I always try to push away, I always try to do a little rebellious pushback when it comes to things that get so overhyped that everybody wants to jump on a bandwagon for. Excuse me. So what are they saying? Okay, so they got a bunch of nominations. I don't know none of these songs, so we can move on. Oh, and what's a big shock? One half of Millie Vanilli is getting a second chance. He was nominated for a Grammy. So many people remember the story, or may not, of Millie Vanilli. Sidebar. Why was Tate McRae just compared to Millie Vanilli? Because they were somebody she wasn't singing live on stage. Her microphone was not on. The R&B duo formed by Fabrice Morvan and Rob Pilatus that shot up the charts in the late 80s with hits like Girl You Know It's True and Blame It on the Rain. However, it was then revealed that Morvan and Pilatus were not the actual vocalists on any of Millie Vanilli's songs. They have an actually really good documentary if you haven't seen it on Paramount Plus. I did watch it. Fabrice is heavily in it. Rob unfortunately passed away. I think it was a drug overdose or something or another because he was going back and forth with drugs. He was never able to shake that. But Fabrice, I remember he moved back to Europe. He had gotten married and was still pursuing music. And he actually has a pretty good voice. The problem, I guess, was that the voice wasn't what that guy that put Millie Vanilli together won it. But this wasn't the first group, if you watch the documentary, that he did that situation with, where he had a particular look that he wanted with a group, but the vocals was somebody else. So he pulled this before. It just went well, viral before viral was viral. It just blew up with Millie Vanilli. So over the past few years, Morvan has spoken in depth about his experience with Millie Vanilli and told people in 2023, without the music and the journey, I would not be who I am today. So yeah, he this was back in '98 that Pilatus died of the overdose. So in August, Morvan released a book, You Know It's True, The Real Story of Milli Vanilli, co-written with Parisa Rose. He also narrated the audiobook, which is now nominated for Best Audiobook, Narration and Storytelling Recording, meaning he finally has a second chance at earning a Grammy Award. And this time, if he wins, he'll be able to keep it. Because when they won the Best New Artist Grammy back then, which we were pissed off about, and then they got up on that stage and girl, you know it's girl, you know it's girl, you know it's girl, you know it's. Remember when the record started skipping and he got so scared he ran off stage? That's when all the rumors started about they not singing live. And then they had to pull a stunt with the Grammys for them not to sing live, because at the Grammys it is required that you have to sing live. They explained the whole thing in the documentary. Definitely check it out. But yeah, and then they were like, after the whole thing came out, they were like, we can't keep, all the exposure, everything came out. They were there with the Grammys and everything, did the press conference. They were like, we can't keep the Grammys, we won't give them back. So if he wins, and I think like this will be a great redemption arc for, just for the sake of where people know that history of Milli Vanilli, I would definitely give it to him for that. Just being like, this is a great comeback situation, and you read the audiobook. Let's give him the Grammy just because now it feels like you earned it. So yeah, that's the latest on the Grammys, the nominations, the snubs, the surprises. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. I know that was a long one, but we had to go through it all. So I definitely want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of this story regarding everything to do with the Grammys? Are you excited? Are you kind of like, okay, whatever, I don't really care. But I'll be watching, media. So I'll be watching to see like what's it doing, who performs, was it a good show or was I bored? But a lot of times the good thing is it's gonna be on Paramount Plus. I can just fast forward if it bores me to death. So let me know what you guys think. And also I want to definitely hear, who do you think albums should have been nominated that was snubbed if they weren't in the list. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Well, damn, well, a lot of people had a lot to say. So let's go on. I live in a small town. I refuse to date married men. Close your legs to married men, trash box. You said ordeal, man. So Madonna got my money, spent $245 on merch. But I guess when you live in a small town, there's a lot is slim pickings. You got a lot of men who feel like they gotta get married, otherwise they be exposed, and then y'all want to be punching behind your wife's back. My prediction is that GNX or DTMF will win AOTY. That's what I was thinking. I was like, it's going to be between Kendrick and Bad Bunny. Those are the two that I feel like has it on lock this time, especially because Bad Bunny and everything he's been doing with this recent album has just been major. And then, of course, this is going to be around the same time in the same month as him performing at the Super Bowl. I really think it's going to be awarded to a man next year. BNA will probably be given to Leon or Alex. I just want Sabrina or Gaga to win. They'll walk away with something, but I don't think they're going to walk away with the majors. Olivia Dean with Sabrina's opening. That's why I was like, I know that name was familiar. That's what I was like, why do I know that name? First of all, Olivia Dean is good. And a lot of the kids that was there, they were really looking forward to seeing her. I'm like, Olivia Dean, quite as kept, was more entertaining than Sabrina was. It's kind of boring. But the thing is that her performing it live, it works better than you actually listening to it in the music. Onyx predictions no one asked for. DMMF will win Song of the Year. Luther will win Record of the Year. Addison Rae or Olivia Dean for Best New Artist. Yeah, funny enough, it might go to Olivia Dean because she's been like, I remember afterwards, people were like, oh, she's really good. I was like, because Sabrina has two opening acts on the tour, actually. Two of the artists are from the Hype House era of influencers, are Best New Artist nominated Alex Warren, and I think Onyx would know the other one. They snubbed Ariana Grande, of course. Yeah, I knew that. Well, they snubbed her solo music, but they didn't snub her for Wicked. Not even trying to be biased because I think he's cute, but the Crux has the best album cover. Well, look, I need to see them album covers, and then I'll probably be like, okay, give it to him. Zara Larson needs to win Best Dance Pop Recording. Midnight Sun is that bitch. Yeah, it definitely is. But they'll probably give it to Abracadabra because, Gaga familiarity. A- Ashley McCrae Simpson only wait, is that her actual name? Oh no, that can't be. Unless you just try to be funny, like how I be messing up people's names, like I do Ariana Grande Cappuccino or Frappuccino. Only got one nomination, and it was for a soundtrack song. Nothing for So Close to What? Yeah, because they probably feel like Tate is manufactured. I don't think they look at her as like she's a real artist. And for what that video that's gone viral on social media with her holding the microphone upside down while she up there doing her little shaking her little behind, and then put the microphone the wrong way, and she's like, "Ooh." And she ain't lived that one down yet. Pink Panthers didn't get an album of the year nom. Conan Gray has one last best new artist submission left, and I hope he wasn't submitted this year because he was certainly. Yeah, that's another one too. Conan wasn't nominated at all either. I'm sure he would have been able to make it, right? Damn, I saw an article that revealed like the window that you have, and I didn't even think to write it down. Pink Panthers didn't get a best new artist. It said Jay didn't get any nods for her tracks eligible, but I did hear we are getting that deluxe baby out next year. So maybe she'll submit it next year. It upsets me how Lorde has seemingly fallen out of favor as soon as Billie came out the scene and No Shade replaced her. Yeah, and the funny thing is, but Lorde is definitely she's got a fan base. She's selling out arenas. She sold out her show at the Garden. But I don't think but she didn't do more than one date though. Billie did more than one date at the Garden. And of course, Country was gonna get snubbed because Morgan Wallen refused to submit his work. Well, first of all, who gives a shit? First of all, another thing too, when I saw that he dropped his tour dates, I was like, please don't do the Garden. Please don't do the Garden. I was praying hard that he wouldn't put the Garden there. He's not. I think as far as he's going on the East Coast is Jersey. But well, like if we're talking about New York facility, he ain't coming here. I was like, thank God, because I would not want to be working that. I will make sure I black out that day. I won't be in there with all them damn rednecks. So I was like, no, ma'am. So in a way, I'm kind of glad that he's not. Billy is American. Once we get an American version of an international act, this is unusual. They wanted to create an American Robin and did it with Britney Spears, especially because Robin refused. Yeah, she didn't want to do those type of teeny bopper type albums. But Robin is Here is like the only album that she did that kind of had that whole sweet girl, pop, Swedish pop vibe. And then after that, she was like, okay, this is not me. It was cute that did Do You Know What It Takes and Show Me Love and those songs was cute. But she was like, she was in her pink mood where she was like, I need to come out with my own version of Misunderstood. And that's when she kind of went independent, started doing body talk and other stuff. And that was the best choice she made. And I'm looking forward to this new album when it comes out in 2026. If people keep doing the same album over and over, people will get bored. Well, according to Jermaine Dupri, um, artists need to stay sticking to the rivers and the lakes that they used to. He wants y'all to keep putting out the same music. Oh, people don't want y'all changing up. I'm like, who asked you? You're not even a musician. You produce. Stick to that. Keep telling people like, well, they shouldn't step out and try different things. Artists need to evolve, and their fans need to as well. I'm not going to keep putting out the same damn song over and over in different versions and different variants. Like some of Donna's fans just want her to do albums like Confessions forever. I'm not sure how much like Confessions this new album will be, especially if she's going to be working with reggaeton artists. When I mentioned some of the artists that she's been allegedly following, well, she's been following and maybe working on the record. Fate is not a traditional reggaeton artist. Wait, who's the other ones that we mentioned? There was a couple of them. Drop it in the comments because I can remember everybody's name. But I said one of them also produced Raul Alejandro's Saturno album. If you listen to that record, that is not a traditional reggaeton album. It dabbles in all different styles of music. So I just rediscovered Lloyd's Buzz Cut season. Brings back memories of my home record college days. This is the final Grammys on CBS. Oh yeah, they're going to ABC, right? My favorite album released this year wasn't nominated, but I'm also not sure if she even submitted anything or believes in the Grammys. Willoughby Tucker, I'll Always Love You by Ethel Kane. Oh, we know you love you some Ethel Kane. Her song actually shuffled on my Apple Music the other day. She shuffled on there. Supreme Court issues the permanent ban of SNAP, making food stamps illegal. What? Can we just get rid of the Supreme Court? Y'all are a fucking joke. We're banning food stamps. This is what we're doing. And then I just heard that the Democrats was trying to make a deal with Republicans, talking about they want to postpone the whole situation until next year. I'm like, why are we postponing the inevitable? They want to gut healthcare and basically get rid of it, and they want to spike up our premiums, which means that if you were paying $150 for your premium, they wanted to skyrocket to like 1,500, might even go up to 2,000. Who's going to be able to afford that? This administration's got to go. But as long as these people that he has in place want to maintain their power, nothing's going to change. I blame Democrats for y'all just sitting on your hands, allowing this shit to transpire. Are they? The Grammys are fake. All right, y'all. So now let's move on from the music. Let's talk about Stranger Things because you already know with Stranger Things and everything going on, there's this big story that's been going on that, well, the Daily Mail reported, which means that when it comes down to the Daily Mail, they are a trash rag. So we should just take a lot of what they say with a grain of salt. But a lot of the, blogs and a lot of the magazines and the all the different gossipy sites picked it up and ran with it. So I guess because we're getting closer to Stranger Things being released. I know they already dropped the first 5 minutes on YouTube. I refuse to watch it. I said I'm waiting until the episodes drop, and then I'm gonna watch it. So I'm not watching that Stranger Things situation. But nevertheless, they're really trying to debunk these rumors because Millie Bobby Brown and David Harbour were seen, you know, basically in a nice warm embrace on the red carpet for the world premiere of Stranger Things. Also, Sean Levy, who was a producer, and he is supposed to be working with Madonna on her upcoming biopic for Netflix. Sean Levy actually came out, and he's doing a bunch of things. He most recently, I believe, directed, wasn't it Deadpool and Wolverine? I think he did that. Anyway, so he actually came out and shut down the reports in regards of these rumors that has been going on. And some people believe the rumors have been spread by David Harbour's scorned ex, um, Lily Allen. Almost forgot her damn name. Stranger Things executive producer Sean Levy railed against inaccurate headlines after reports surfaced that Millie Bobby Brown accused co-star David Harbour of bullying and harassment. Now, Levy addressed Brown's allegations for the first time while speaking with the Hollywood Reporter at the Netflix show's season 5 world premiere in Los Angeles on Thursday night. Referring to news of a complaint between two stars of the show, the reporter asked Levy how he handles something like that on set and how he makes sure everyone feels safe and respected. But of course, they had to clean it up in a way where it didn't come across as. So what's going on at a set of Stranger Things? People over there fighting and bullying. You can't come out and say it like that. He said, I've read a bunch of stories and they range from wildly inaccurate. Levy replied, adding that there was so much noise around the alleged scandal. However, he continued, the truth is that we view the crew and the cast as family, so we treat each other with respect, and that's always been the bedrock. The filmmaker explained that that it is his responsibility to foster a healthy work environment. He said, at the end of the day, that's the job. You have to create a respectful workplace where everyone feels comfortable and safe. So we did everything to build the environment, and we're proud of the fact that we did so. Now, on Monday, as y'all know, that news broke that Brown allegedly filed a lengthy complaint accusing Harbour of bullying and harassment before the series began filming its fifth and final season in early 2024. And what was weird was that we had heard for a long time that Stranger Things was filming. Excuse me. I could not breathe through my nose. It's like all of a sudden my nose got clogged. Um, we had heard that we didn't hear nothing. Funny enough, right? Nothing of the sort. We were like, okay, what is going on with Stranger Things? Like they still filming this damn show? They filmed for like a year. Ain't heard a peep. We get close to all the promo and everything coming out. Then all of a sudden, there's this report that comes out about a lengthy harassment suit filed by Millie Bobby Brown while all this is going on, which I guess in a way they were trying to sabotage the show. But I'm like, is this all because you want to sabotage David Harbour because he can't keep his dick in his pants? I mean, quiet as it's kept, he and Lily Allen had an agreement with them having an open relationship, whatever the rules were that was put into place. Apparently, he broke them because he might have caught feelings with a woman or he wasn't being honest with what the arrangement was with the chicks he was hooking up with in his little pussy palace. That is the name of a song off the album, Lily's album. So, um, but why would you want everybody else to suffer at the hands of you being a scorned ex? You was able to get all the stuff you was able to get out in your record. And basically you giving Taylor Swift a run for her money in regards of how much tea you spilled on that album. Taylor could take some notes because her lyrics still come across like it was written for like a 12-year-old school, girl that just lost her little boyfriend, her schoolboy crush. Like her lyrics still gives that. It lacks maturity. No shade, but just saying. So Lily is like, I'm a grown ass woman. I'm gonna go there with all the tea, and I'm gonna be just as messy as I'm gonna go scorch earth, and you have a right to do that. But now it's like the rumors are going around that she was probably planting these seeds because apparently she wants this album to really blow up and it's successful overseas. I don't know if many people are checking for Lily Allen's album in the United States, but over in the UK, I hear it's doing gangbusters, but she's, you know, a popular British act. So the Brits are going to eat her music up. Now, as stated, despite their reported tensions, Brown and Harper put on a united front while they walked the red carpet at the premiere. So it looks like to me it's like they put out the Netflix is pretty much saying, and Sean Levy is saying, there's no fighting going on. What you may have heard is not necessarily the truth. I kind of wanted to do the Tatiana, what you see isn't always the truth. But so what you may have heard from these gossip wags and rags, I should say gossip rags, is not necessarily true. So they're putting on a united front. I'm like, that's a good damn acting if y'all really got some beef going on. But the production's like, okay, y'all need to go out, try to clear this mess up. You don't need to address it. Well, the body language will say what's what. Now, I can't tell if the body language is saying whatever, but if they're just like faking it or whatever the case is. But based on the way that they've embracing and how they're posing on the red carpet, they definitely seem like they're having a good time. Maybe they're overcompensating, who knows? But some of the pictures I've seen, David and Billy are quite close. Not saying that they're being intimate because she has a husband and he does not have a wife. But he probably has many a ladies that he sticks it in when he needs to. But the way that I was seeing some of the pictures of the cast and everybody together, they definitely seem like there's no negative energy. So that's basically the latest on that. And I'll definitely be keeping this abreast of the story as it develops. But I'll definitely be checking out Stranger Things. I'm looking forward to watching the final season. Excuse me. I'm waiting far too long for this damn season. And I guess when Netflix is like, you know what? We're not gonna let any of this craziness sabotage the show. I don't even think that even if there was some bullying going on set, would that have deterred people from wanting to see this final season? So I'm definitely curious. I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Do you believe this, from the photos that, yeah, there's no drama between Millie Bobby Brown and David Harbour based on the photos and the body language and the way they was kind of, very much embracing each other on the red carpet, taking pictures together, that there is no animosity towards each other. Maybe they buried the hatchet and they worked things out. And it could have been maybe there was some stuff with him going on set where he was in a bad mood, basically stemming from a lot of what was going on in his personal life. It probably carried over onto set. And after the complaint or whatever, maybe there was a talking to and they worked it out and he became better. And now they're copacetic. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, let me see. Grammys, Oscars, all these platforms that decide who's top, bottom, not top and bottom, best, worst. It's all about money and how much. Um, like I said, I saw a Noah Snap on the thumbnail for the first 5 minutes preview, and I didn't want to watch it. Ah, you stupid. So you're like, nope, I don't like that Zionist queen. So I'm like, I'ma just turn him off and wait for the whole thing because now y'all trying to make him the center of the story. I was like, nope, I'm good. That's why I was like, I can wait another 3 weeks to see the show. I don't need to watch 5 minutes because then I'm gonna get caught up in. I'm like, damn, that's it. Um, Stranger Things is a huge success. What happens in private isn't our business, nor does it affect the series' popularity. 11 is as a character is said she overrated. I didn't feel like that there were moments throughout the franchise where they could have utilized her, they didn't. But they'll be able to. Hopefully, they'll make use of her this time. Honestly, it sounds like all the actors want to finally finish the show. I'm sure they do, and they're ready to move on to greener pastures because it's like spending 10 years and only 5 seasons on a show. That's that's a lot. And it's like okay, I'm ready to move on. I'm over it. All right, y'all. So now let's get back into some more topics. Let's talk about Katy Perry. So Katy Perry dropped a new song. There's a lot of people dropping new music today. Like I talked about in the beginning of the show, Rosalia dropped her album Lux. Madonna dropped the 20th anniversary edition of Confessions of the Dance Floor, which means it is literally the same version of the album that we got from the CDs back in the day, which is like a full-on running track, like they blend into each other with some new songs and some deep cuts. And so yeah, and then so there was a lot of new music that came out today, but also Katy Perry dropped a new song. Oh, and Hilary Duff dropped new music too. That song is cute. I actually like the video, and the chorus actually had me hooked. But and no shade, so I'm just gonna say it. I feel like honestly, I mean Katy Perry's song, I thought it was okay. Didn't move the needle for me. It wasn't like a dance pop record, which I actually thought it was gonna be, but it wasn't. Felt like old Katy Perry. I was almost called her by her real name, Kate Hudson. Um, I feel like Hilary Duff had the better song, but nevertheless, Katy Perry came out with a new song which seems to be addressing, excuse me, her split with Orlando Bloom. And based on the lyrics, I was like, okay, I could definitely see that she was most definitely addressing it. So the 41-year-old singer who's wait, I thought she was 40. But whatever. The 41-year-old singer who split from Orlando Bloom, 48, in June after nearly a decade together, dropped her new song and music video on Thursday. The lyrics of video appeared to give a glimpse into the end of her relationship with Bloom. So in the lyrics, she says, "Hand to God, I promise I tried. There's no stone left unturned. It's not what you did, it's what you didn't. You weren't there, but I mean, you were there, but you weren't. Got so used to you letting me down. No use trying to send flowers now. Telling myself you'll change, you don't. Bandaids over a broken heart." So to me, the lyrics feels like to me that he was there physically, but probably mentally and spiritually, he was somewhere else. I'm thinking based off of this record, he had checked out of the relationship a while ago. And like after a while, I always feel like, and I always look at everything like that. Everything I believe in life is temporary. Friendships, relationships, life especially. Um, everything. Everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. I don't think that everything is supposed to last forever, including relationships. I see a lot of times, especially in the maybe the generation in which you grew up, especially like when I look at my parents or my grandparents and things of that nature, I always feel like that they were conditioned to believe that, yeah, if you're in a relationship with someone, you should stay together forever. And yes, people do get divorced and stuff, but I do feel like for the most part, I do look at people who I clearly see y'all are unhappy. I clearly see like you don't want to be in that relationship with that person, but people just stick around and stay with them because it's like it's a part of the thing. It's like, well, what am I gonna do? Live your life, finally live for you, and not just be cut with somebody because you don't want to be you have this fear of being alone. So why not depart and explore different opportunities? But some people don't want to do that. Okay. So for the most, so yeah, that's how I was just feeling about that. So I just feel like with this record, I just felt like he had checked out of the relationship. He was over it. But she also went on to say in the second verse, tried all the medications, lowered my expectations, made every justification, bleeding out, bleeding out, bleeding out slow. So she's saying she basically just lowered her expectations just so that way she could make the relationship work. But also wanted to say that everything that transpired between them, even throughout all the negativity that may have transpired in the relationship, they had good times and that she has no regrets, despite the relationship ending. And said if I had to do it all over again, I would still do it all over again. The love that we made was worth it in the end. Well, I guess the love that you made would be your child, Daisy, together because they have a kid together. And that's probably what it was also. I believe that if there was no child involved, Orlando would have Orlando would have bloomed somewhere else. He would have moved on. I don't think that they would still relatively be together. I think they probably try to stay together for the sake of the daughter. But if that love is not reciprocated, if people aren't really feeling that situation, then why stick around? And so the one thing about our musicians, they will always, this is if you get a relationship with a singer or whatever, they can always use that as fodder for the music. And I'm glad that she was able to exercise that and she's done moved on. She's with Justin Trudeau, who Diplo recently came out and said he had hooked up with the both of them, Katy and Justin. So I don't know if that's true, but we know that Diplo has said that he is fluid. He has done things with men. But okay. Good for you, sis. But like I said, oh, and also I gotta mention the video. So she did drop the video. The video actually I thought elevates the song. The song is okay. The video I actually like because it takes elements of like situation like it was very Final Destination coded. So like, at the end she lights a cigarette at the gas. I'm like, girl, you're trying to blow yourself up. And of course she blows herself up. Sticks her hand down the drain because she's washing dishes and the ring comes off, goes down the drain, sticks her hand in, a Final Destination type situation happens, turns the garbage disposal on, she cuts up her hand in the drain. Then it's like she gets her shoestring caught on the escalator. She driving down the wrong side of the road, then turns around, and there's like a Final Destination, the truck with the logs. So there's like all kinds of crazy situations that happens, and then it's at a point where it's like when all these bad things that happen to you, once you let go, then the tide will turn. So that was kind of like the vibe that I got from the record. But overall, I mean, from the video, but overall, thought the song was okay. She also mentioned when she was on the Call Me Daddy podcast and said that she would have to talk um Orlando into doing certain things. She would, well, when he would wash the dishes when the house clean keeper wasn't there, she'd reward him with a bologna wash. And basically was said that, so it's like if I come downstairs and the kitchen is clean and you've done it all and you've done all the dishes and you close all the pantry doors, you better be ready to get your dicks up. This is what she said on Call Me. She said, I mean, literally, this is my love language. I don't need a red Ferrari. I can buy a red Ferrari. Just do the fucking dishes. I will suck your dick. It's that easy. I'm like, okay. Well, now we know she sucks dick, but I was thinking, like, who doesn't? I mean, girl, if you don't, your man will find somebody who will. Trust and believe. So, slurp, slurp, get to slurping. So yeah, that's the latest on that. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Have you heard the new Katy Perry song? What you think of the Katy Perry song? Did you think it was about Orlando Bloom? I mean, quiet as it's kept. Who would it be about? Like the mailman? Like obviously she's gonna be talking about her long term relationship that she had with him, and then they moved on. She's exercising that. But I also wonder, does this mean that this is a new era? Like, is this the follow up to 143, or is this little, or what we the prelude to what we're getting for the new album? Because 143, nobody cared for that record when she was working with Dr. Puke and all that other stuff. So is this a new era, or was this just a one-off, closing the chapter to the 143 era, and now we're moving into a new era? Who knows? I don't know, because I've been hearing people saying that it might be for new music, but I haven't heard that confirmed. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Mm-mm. You say Millie Brown is reliable to believe and trust. Plus, the kids are all in their 20s now, so they want to do other things. And some of them will be. Harbour destroyed Lily Allen. She was famous from being a child. She has massive talent, and Harbour has no one until he used Lily. I thought he had a semi career. Wait, oh yeah, you say he was in Madonna's movie, Whatever? That's what I call it, Whatever. He was also, look, I remember when he did a episode of Law and Order SVU. But you haven't made it as an actor if you haven't done an episode of Lord or the SVU. But Stranger Things was his big breakout. Dare I say this song was surprisingly decent. I prefer her reheating her stale one of them boys nachos than teenage drink. That's why I said it was like early Katy Perry, like before she started doing the whole dance pop stuff. So it is from that. It did give from that era. That was like her first album, right? I don't trust Katy Perry. I like mature. I hope she really does deliver on her promise to make an album for the gays with an oomps oomps beat. Yeah, because funny enough, when before that song came out, I was in the gym working out, and I actually put on "Breathe In, Breathe Out." I forgot how good that album was. I never heard much good about Lily Allen. She seems like she'd be hard to deal with. Like me, Katie is very performative. She doesn't seem genuine. Yeah, she definitely gives me performative tease. But I think in the video she was trying to play up that whole in the video she was trying to play up the whole, comedy thing that she likes to do where she's like the big klutz. She does that a lot in her videos, plays up the comedy. Hillary's song is her talking to her younger self. Well, we like the song. I like the song. People magazine has been doing reunions of popular early 2000s show. James Lafferty and Chad Michael Murray for One Tree Hill, and Jared Padalecki and Matt Sucre. Oh, I love me some Matt Sucre. I was like, how are you so young with that deep voice? Now I think he's like in his 40s or whatever. And then he did The Resident, but I always liked him on that show, Gilmore Girls. But they should do that. where it was like, child, why don't y'all get the next thing? Speaking of Padalecki, can y'all do Supernatural? Because that was 2000s too, right? I was like right after Gilmore Girls. I think he went and did that show. Or he might have been doing it around the same time. But yeah, we liked, and remember when Jared Padalecki and Matt Sucre was caught between Rory? Rory had to choose between them two. Them they was pounding for her love. Mm. He said famous people in the 90s were friends with her. They were all party animal, wild drugs, and drink. And her brother Alfie Allen is a good actor too. I liked him as Reek on Game of Thrones. And also he was in the first John Wick where he killed the dog. Now I get the slurping. Slurp, slurp, bitch. Katy Perry is no longer headline material. I mean, quiet as it's kept. She hasn't been in a long time. When Lily got with Harbour, we never saw her again. Well, I think like when it comes to relationships, a lot of these artists really need to stop diminishing themselves or dimming their own light so that way they can let the insecure ass men shine. They be asking too much of that. Rory should have gotten with Jess or Tristan, a bad boy in a contract. First of all, I liked her with Milo Ventimiglia. Damn, I forgot about him too. It was like, damn, what was all them boys was pining for her? She had Jared Padalecki, she had Matt Sucre, and she had Milo Ventimiglia. I was like, Rory was popular. It said to contrast with her goody goody bookworm. And I always wanted Lorelai and Luke to get together. His backwards cat. All right. Now, here's one person I don't want to get back together with any damn body because that pussy is like the Black Widow spider. Let's talk about Kim Kardashian. So apparently, you already heard the team regarding that show All's Fair, which, by the way, I've seen like Hulu had its numbers thingy or whatever. You know, like how they copy off of who started that? Was it Netflix? Where they had like the top 10 thingy, whatever, based on what people watch. I don't know. Sometimes I be thinking all them damn streaming services cook the books with all them saying like, oh, these are the top shows or whatever. Well, apparently All's Fair is in the top five. I think it might be in the top three. So people apparently are watching it, even though the show has gotten a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics panned it. People were reading Kim for her wooden ass, lifeless acting. But Kim basically said she don't care. She's still out here doing what she's doing, and she's not bothered by the hate. So in a carousel post on Instagram, Kardashian included screenshots of posts on Twitter, both criticizing and praising the show, including one that read, "Some of the worst acting I've ever seen in my life, alongside the most predictable storylines and the most ridiculous styling. I'm obsessed. I need 14 seasons." Well, that's where I'm about to say your real name. Cleveland said his daughter watched the show and basically said it's one of those shows that it's so bad it's good. So I guess it falls in that category of like it's a shitty, terrible show, but it's like literally watching a car crash on the side of the road. You can't turn away. You gotta look at the disaster. Kind of like this administration we're in. Um yeah, that's that have you tuned into the most critically acclaimed show of the year? This is what she wrote in the caption. Speaking of which, I actually have her carousel. Let's go to that. Um, let me pull that up. Yeah, so she has it here. Have you tuned into the most critically acclaimed show of the year? All Fair streaming now on Hulu and Disney Plus. Then we have another one with her and Ryan Murphy. The other one said immediately press play. Then it says Ryan Murphy's All Fair debuts with 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, starring Kim Kardashian, Naomi Watts, Niecy Nash, Tiana Taylor, Sarah Paulson, and Glenn Close. Remember, also was mentioned that Halle Berry was supposed to be a part of this show, but she dropped out due to, I don't know, I think it was scheduling conflicts. Child, she probably read that script and found out also Kim Kardashian was getting a producer's credit. Was like, okay, I'm out. I ain't dealing with this bullshit. Also, what else? Okay, then you see her with the cast. Yeah, this is the one we read earlier about some of the worst acting I've ever seen in my life, alongside the most predictable storylines and the most ridiculous styling. I'm obsessed. I need 14 seasons. Hashtag all's fair. Then you got What the hell is she wearing? This has got to be the tackiest outfit I've ever seen. Then one person said all fair is scream queens, but for wine moms and millennial gays. You just don't get it. And I don't want to. Ryan Murphy is the high priest of tacky, tasteless television, and this year he has outdone himself. You want to know something? If that ain't a compliment, I don't know what is. That's shade wrapped in a compliment. Because yes, he is the high priest of tacky. It's like Trump is tacky when it comes to the gold and all that 80s ambiance that he does, whatever he like what he's got to happen in the White House and all his buildings or whatever. It's just he is the king of tacky with that. Just like Ryan Murphy is tacky with a lot of the subject matter he does in his shows. Is that Amy Schumer? Somebody just step on her. Another one is says All Fair on Hulu dares to ask the question, does a show need to be good? Yeah. If I'm watching a show, it need to be good to keep my damn interest. And they say, and the answer is no, it doesn't. We have legendary actresses here giving the worst performances of their careers. It takes a special kind of talent to pull that kind of inability out of them. Well, that just goes to show that when you have seasoned veteran actors who even the worst, what's written on the page and how bad it is, if they could elevate that work and bring it to life, that's good acting. There've been many of actors who have taken horrible material and have elevated it. That takes a special kind of skill. So then we have another one. Critics realizing the reviews of All's Fair ended up making people watch and love the show. Yeah, and that's also good promotion. It's like, yes, if someone says, "Oh, this is the worst show," you know, people are gonna be like, "Okay, so now they say this show was terrible. I got to see what the hubbub was all about, so I'm gonna check it out." One person said, All's Fair is actually so good. Me and my friend have just binged the first 3 episodes and we are obsessed with this storyline. The fashion and glamour is giving. The drama and the acting isn't even as bad as everyone is making out. Y'all are dramatic as fuck for real. Hold on. Do this bitch got baby hairs? I'm done. Here we go, colonizing what black girls do. All's Fair is the cuntiest, chicest, and campiest piece of television I've ever watched. All Fair is currently the most watched title on Disney Plus in the world, ranking first in 28 countries, including the US via Hulu. All Fair is in the top 10 in all of 36 territories around the globe. Child, if I keep reading any more of these goddamn reviews, I might actually end up watching the show. Like, y'all about to suck me in. So yeah, there's a Variety's TV critic Allison Herman wrote in her review in regards of All's Fair. Hold on, let me go back to this picture that I had before. So let's get yeah, because some of the critic ones. Um, Allsfair is a clumsy, condescending take on rah-rah girl boss feminism, half-baked even by the standards of an overextended Murphy, who co-created the show with Joe Backen and John Robin Bates. It's true that the tone is intentionally camp adjacent, and if one squints, they could discern the vague outlines of a parody, but that's little consolation when All's Fair demonstrates such a low opinion of its own viewers, assuming we'll bark like seals when fed disconnected scraps of sassy one liners, flashy outfits, and men ain't shit commiseration. In the Times Zero-star review of the series, headline All's Fair Review, this may be the worst TV drama ever. Deputy TV editor Ben Dowell wrote, well done, Kim. You must have quite a healthy ego yourself to start in what may be the worst television drama ever made, because All's Fair is so bad, it's not even enjoyably so. It thinks it's a feminist fable about spirited lawyers getting their own back on cruel rich men, but it is in fact tacky and revolting monument to the same greed, vanity, and avarice it supposedly targets. All scripted, it feels, by a toddler who couldn't write burn. I mean, hold on. They said, what? All scripted. It feels like a toddler who couldn't write bum on a wall. I was like, what? Now, several Twitter posts featured, okay, we already went through that. So look, people like it. Critics hated it. She was not on. Look, also, I couldn't even get through American Horror Story Delicate. Kim was on that. Um, and she's an executive producer on the legal drama alongside Murphy. So I guess her cachet, her money, and her name or whatever probably got this show picked up and got it made. And so Kim is getting in the TV business, and whether people like it or not, it is what it is. Now, if you choose to watch it, then that's great. But here's the thing: what we got to realize, this is cute now because of all the reviews and everything. But we always talk about this with movies. When movies get panned, or whatever the case is, or whatever, or even if it's good, you always worry about that first week box office number. But then it's the second week that you got to worry about. Will All's Fair be able to maintain that same momentum as they crawl their way week to week with new episodes till we get to the finale? So only time will tell if people will stick it out to the end of the season, because they said they watched the first 3 episodes, unless I need to check. Is it week to week? Let me go to my Hulu. Or is it or did they just do, because sometimes when it comes to the show, they just drop the whole damn season and call it a day. No, I don't want to watch it. Um Wait, what? Let's go to details and then episodes. Okay, so it is week to week because they got the first 3 episodes up. And then it says upcoming Tuesday at 12 a.m. because that's when they drop the Hulu episodes. So yeah, so it is a week to week show. So that's what I'm wondering, because I'm like, okay, now after the week to week, what is going to happen? Are people still going to stick around and care enough to want to invest in these characters? Because yeah, I always say it takes about 3 episodes to determine whether or not you're going to really stick it out and watch a show. So only time will tell. I'll see what those numbers are when the next episode drops, when episode 4 drops. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Have you seen All's Fair? Are you digging the show? Do you agree with the critics? Is it absolutely a horrible show? The acting is bad, the writing is bad, the show isn't as clever as it thinks it is. I was trying to hold off that cold until I was done wrapping this damn thing up. Couldn't make it. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Hold on. I was like, where was I? You said, who is actually happy in an open relationship? There's some people that's actually happy in a relationship. I know people who are in polyamorous relationships. As long as y'all have y'all rules and you follow the rules that you have constructed for your relationship, yeah. As long as you follow the rules that and don't break them and whatever works in the confines of the relationship, then that's fine. But also, I know like relationships evolve, and I'm sure there's jealousy and stuff that transpires throughout all of that. And if that other person doesn't feel comfortable continuing that relationship, I'm sure they move on, and then you go and try to find someone to come in to replace and be all for that. That's too much work. I ain't got time to be sitting up in here juggling all these damn people. So, um, if you like it, I love it. That's all I'm gonna say. She's delusional if she thinks she can act. Yeah, she's basically just delivering her lines how she talks in that Kardashian show. I think it's one-sided and the other half doesn't leave. Kim Kardashian, all Kardashians are talentless and buy attention. Yeah, them girls don't have a formidable talent. Key on the Rebel Hearts group chat said Hallie didn't want a Catwoman to. I mean, I agree. She would have gotten panned in that damn show. She's like, oh no. She probably read that script and was like, in the words of Amy Winehouse, what kind of fuckery is this? I'm not going to be sitting up in here getting involved in this mess. I'm out. I'm gonna just say I got um a scheduling conflict. Ryan Murphy get child. Yeah, I said it. He said he gives Austin Wolf vibes. Child, I would not be surprised if um down the road some allegations might come out Brandon Carrington thinks the reason why Trump administration is fighting from funding SNAP is because the money funded his bunker. Or it funded that great Gatsby party. Because here's the thing. I saw a story, can't remember who did it. I think Kyle Kalinske. The people that did the construction on the East Wing have not been paid. And I'm like, why is anybody surprised? This man never pays people for the work that he has them do. So y'all thought y'all was gonna get a payment? So yeah, these people that went and ransacked that East Wing of the White House, did all that mess, they haven't gotten paid. So you had these people working and you ain't giving no money. So yeah, if federal workers can't get paid for the government shutdown, you think he gonna pay y'all for putting a wrecking ball to the White House? Drink for 35 seconds and say fuck if you think he's accurate. I couldn't even get past the first 5 minutes. Those paycheck. Oh, so it was that bad. So I guess you did check it out, and you saying it's bad. Did you see the video of the guy who fainted? Yeah, I saw it. And how Trump just basically looked forward. He didn't even flinch. He don't care. And how uh RFK ran out the room. I was like, these people are just despicable. I said they need to invoke the 28th Amendment, which would be to get Trump out. But someone else said that there is something within the Constitution where you could just get the whole administration out. Well, yeah, they didn't invoke that, but I don't think they'll have enough votes. I just saw that leaked Senate hearing room tape. These people are just a mess. K-pop are more popular towns that watch. Well, a lot of people like K-pop. K-pop is very popular in the United States. Rory also pulled Chad Michael Murray, and he was obsessed with her, but she was blind. That man was fine in the early 2000s. He damn sure was. I mean, yeah, he got older, probably because all that cheating and shit and drinking and things. Chad Michael look a little rough right now, but back in the day, yeah, you couldn't tell him nothing. When I used to look at Chad Michael, I was like, oh, tall, blonde hair, blue eyed cutie, patootie, in the words of Rosie O'Donnell. All right, let's move on to some other mess. Let's talk about Raven-Symoné or Raven-Symoné, who is opening up about this whole discourse regarding Bill Cosby. Because a lot of people have felt like, can you separate the man and his personal messiness from liking a TV show? And so she addressed it on this recent podcast that she went on, that Jamie Kennedy, from Randy Meeks, from best known as Randy Meeks from the Scream movies. Yeah, he got a podcast called Hate to Break It to You. And she went on there. She's 39, by the way. I'm like, God damn, time flies. So she said, separate the creator from the creation. And that's just where I live. The creation changed America and changed television. Cosby, who's 88, conceived his eponymous The Cosby Show in the 1980s, which ran for 8 seasons about a fictional black family in Philly. This one they were in New York. So, am I bugging? When was The Cosby Show in Philadelphia? I thought it was in New York. But anyway, so because they lived in a brownstone. Now they said Simone got her big break on the Cosby Show, joining in the final years as Cosby's on-screen stepdaughter Olivia. Now, decades after the Cosby Show wrapped, the comedian was accused of sexual misconduct by more than 60 women. He was convicted on 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault in 2018, and he was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison. But he only served 2 years. And then he was released in 2021 when his conviction was overturned on an appeal. Cosby has long maintained his innocence regarding every misconduct accusation. However, he could say he's innocent till the cows come home. I truly believe he did everything he did to the women. And one of the things I've always noticed, like when you see people like Bill Cosby, who love the Cosby Show, I grew up on the Cosby Show. Seeing a family like the Cosby Show was definitely admirable. even though like I come from a two-family household and I was always shown positivity when it comes to like relationships and marriage and growing up in a black household. Well, my mother's not a black woman, but I did grow up mostly with my father's side, which is my black side of the family. I've been more closer to them than I was my mother's side of the family. I think my mother kept us from, for the most part, from a lot of her side of the family because, child's a long story, got drug addicts. She told me today one of my uncles finally, I mean, one of my cousins actually got out of prison, and she said all the felons went up there to get him. He was in Pennsylvania or something or another. But anyway, so she kept us from my her side of the family, my grandmother, mother, that whole side of the family because it was just a lot of family drama and stuff that was going on over there. I didn't really get along with my aunt, and it was just a lot of mess and a lot of drama and a lot of craziness on the other side of the family. So for the most part, we kind of just like stayed away from them. We would go and see every now and again, but for the most part, I gravitated more towards my father's side of the family. But um seeing that, it was definitely a positive show, and then, of course, A Different World and this, that, and the other, and yes, Bill Cosby is definitely a staple in Black households. He is someone who has created a lot of iconic TV, but the thing that used to always rub me the wrong way is how he would look down on other Black people, particularly if you were from a low-income background. It was always like how he would always act like he was better than everybody, and that always kinda rubbed me the wrong way, and I think that when all these allegations came out, because I always say when people pointing fingers at you, the other 4 is pointing back at them, and they got some deep-rooted stuff that's going on. So, Bill Cosby always kinda had his nose up in the air. It always came across as, like, very much, like, holier than thou. So when this stuff came out about him, oh, I was salivating at the mouth because I always felt like while we love the Cosby Show and we liked all the things you created, A Different World, still love that show. You can watch A Different World on the streaming services. I think Netflix has it. I kind of wish we could still watch the Cosby Show. I think the only way you can watch it is like if you have Philo and if you have like a DVR or whatever, you could set it for like to record or save, and you can just go back and watch all those episodes. But if you want to watch on like any of the streaming service, unless you got a physical copy of them stuff, you cannot watch that show. And I do feel like in this case, because of what Raven is saying, it's sad that everybody from that show has to suffer because of his actions. So people can't even watch the Cosby Show. I feel like like it's a forgotten gem. And there was a lot of iconic moments from that show. So I think I kind of agree with her in this whole situation where she is like we gotta separate the creator from the creation. Because she went on to say that she said he has been accused of some horrific things, and that does not excuse anything. But that's his personally keep and personally keep that there. And then business wise, know what he did there as well. Both can live, and I think our culture is right to not do wrong. You just can't do wrong. She has seldom and now in the past, because and this is actually interesting, I guess we could say, because she doesn't really address this Cosby controversial situation. It's like she's always kind of like kept up, minding her business, was off doing her own thing, with That's So Raven and the Cheetah Girls and Kim Possible, and off doing her thing with her wife and The View and those other, like she was staying out of it. So it was interesting that she addressed all this. And it was interesting that she actually talked to Jamie Kennedy, of all people. She said, I got into the Disney family when I was 13 on a movie called Xenon Girl of the 21st Century. It was just really interesting because nobody from Disney at the time had a career like mine prior to signing with Disney. I already had 2 shows, I already had 2 albums, I already did a movie, and I already had done all kinds of things. Child, I'm not even ashamed. I bought Raven-Symoné album. I used to be up in there singing That's What Little Girls Are Made Of and Hip Hop Teddy Bear. Bitch, I would get like yes and and did. I was up in there singing along to Hip Hop Teddy Bear. That was my song. I think Missy Elliott helped write a lot of those songs. Now, according to Simone, she and her team attempted to keep ties on what was underneath Disney umbrella and what belonged to the actress, and said that it all became wonderfully muddy when the character was named after me. It was amazing because very rarely do women get that as much as a man does, but I was the youngest to have a show named after her of color and female, and I continued my career. I said, let's keep going with Disney. They're doing a great job. And that's how I like, you know, back in the day, before all this mess started with these racists, there was so much creativity and pushing boundaries and diversity and stuff. And now it feels like we don't even get that anymore. It's like everybody's scared to just tell stories from different points of view. And then she also told about her music career, said my music career didn't do so well underneath their bracket because I didn't subscribe to some of those things that were being asked of me. She noted just the type of music. I'm your Bjork person. I like weird original stuff anyway. Music didn't pan out in that world, and I'm okay with that because I got to keep the power and control over my music career in a way that no one else really had at that time. When she was basically talking about she switched to Disney's label. And since remained on amicable terms, she's still amicable with Disney execs. And she did the Ravens Home spinoff, executive producing and starring in that. And so there was a lot of stuff regarding that. But I have to agree with her on everything in regards to the whole Bill Cosby thing. And so I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you agree with Raven-Symoné that yes, you need to separate the creator from the creation? I think it's easier to do that with television and films versus music. Or at least for me, I can say that I can tend to separate more when I'm watching a show or if I'm watching a movie. Because there's a lot of movies that I love with problematic ass people in it, like Mel Gibson, or like I love Braveheart. Although there's one scene with the gay son that I hate that sequence. So I don't really watch that movie much. But if Leave the Weapon came on, I'm going to watch it. Sylvester Stallone with his Trumpian ass. Like I love Rocky, not all of them. I like Rocky and Rocky 2. I love Rambo and Rambo First Blood Part 2. Well, First Blood is Rambo, the first one. And then in First Blood Part 2, I love Demolition Man. I like a lot of the movies that Sylvester Stallone does. I love Cobra. There's a lot of great movies, but he's done some things that people find deemed problematic. So I could separate when it's an ensemble. When you're one artist, like a musician, like a R. Kelly, and you've incorporated some of them sexcapades that you was doing to them girls in your music, I feel like it's hard to separate the talent from the creator from the creation when your music contains things that are deemed inappropriate that you've incorporated from your personal stuff you was doing to young girls in your music. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Hold on. As I'm damn near coughing to death, can't breathe through my damn. Oh, excuse me. Y'all heard me burp. I had a Wendy Williams moment. Burping live on air. Can't breathe through my nose. I'm coughing. Hopefully, I'll be able to feel better by tomorrow. I was feeling slightly better today. That damn wind. I mean, it was like the weather kept changing up on me. Try it on me. All right. Let me see. Let me see. No, I cannot. That's why I said I can't separate. When it's the musicians, I cannot do that. I could do it more so with movies and TV show because it's part of an ensemble. Like the Cosby Show, it wasn't just Bill Cosby that was on the show. But when it's a musician, I can't. Sailor Mermaid's in the building. He says something tells me the tide is turning in favor of the Cosby Show and it'll be available for streaming. I feel like they should put it on streaming because here's the thing, and I didn't put that in there because there are other people where there's problematic ass people on them shows and they're still on. Like Robert bringing up, you could stream Seventh Heaven in that '70s show, but a racist show because it's impacted Black culture. That's why I said, like, to me, it's low key racist that, oh, it's a Black show, so the Black people get hit with the hammer harder than the white contemporaries. Because Danny Masterson raped 2 women and that '70s show was still on. He's in jail right now. And Seventh Heaven, Stephen Collins, a goddamn child molester, and people could still watch that. And that's supposed to be this Christian show. But I forgot. When it comes to Christian values, Christian people, y'all, your kids get diddled with, and y'all do all kinds of stuff. But you look the other way because y'all get to live y'all little rich, successful lives, and y'all getting indoctrinated into politics and all the other stuff. So you got to keep up that momentum. Who said the thing is you can't separate films and music from the creators while they're still on this earth and making a profit of said works to use it, harm, and exploit others. Well, I don't see it as harming and exploiting others because here's the thing. Bill Cosby's not the only one who's not benefiting. The residuals that the other talent gets from the show, they're not getting that because the shows they're not able to watch it. No, Harvey Weinstein is a producer. People don't really see him. So Harvey Weinstein produces Scream movies. I love the Scream movies, but Harvey Weinstein is not someone who acts. Harvey Weinstein is a producer. So to if you are going to go and chastise him, that means all the movies that he's been behind, and he's been making movies. He's been behind a lot of movies since the '80s. Then I mean, I guess we're not going to watch nothing. So yeah, people are looking at Harvey Weinstein. I think there's a big difference. Okay, so now, no, one person I guess we're gonna have to worry. But wait, actually, before we get to that, almost forgot. We down our final four topics. So before we get to those final four, if you have not already, please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. Thank you for sticking it out so far. We hit the 2 hour mark. So we almost done with the show. I'm like, damn, it's almost 11 o'clock. It's 10:35 over here on the East Coast. Well, 10:36. It just changed as I was announcing the number. Now, now let's see if this person that we're about to talk about, can we separate him from his movies because of all the recent allegations that's come out? And I'm shocked I did. Let's talk about Jeremy Renner. So Jeremy Renner is going through it because apparently he out here sending ping pics and porn and all kinds of other stuff to a woman that he worked with. I think on a couple of films. I think she works with him in it's a film partner. So I wonder if like is she a producing partner or whatever the case is? I guess we'll find out. So he has been accused, and don't tell me you racist too, low key racist, because y'all some of y'all get in interracial relationships and y'all be showing y'all true colors when people piss y'all off. So apparently he was accused of threatening to call immigration and customs enforcement, which was gonna call that bony bitch with the nappy weave. What's her name? Christy Nome. You gonna call her on this girl? So yeah, he threatened to call ICE on his Chinese filmmaking partner after she confronted him about alleged sexual misconduct. So Yi Zhao, oh, I heard of her. I was like, wait, what name sound familiar? She directed the documentary Chronicles of Disney and the animated movie Stardust, Future Stars and Scars, both starring Renner, initially made her allegations via Instagram. Now, pause. Here's the thing. If y'all gonna be coming out here with the allegations, why y'all be going on social media? Why don't you dot your I's, cross your T's, take your paperwork down to the police or the attorneys and do your violation? Why do y'all go on social media and spill y'all tea? I mean, it's good grist for the mill for us to talk about. But me, but on me playing devil's advocate, I'm like, why don't you just take this stuff to the courts? But anyway, so Mr. Renner first contacted me directly in June, sending personal and intimate photographs of himself, behavior that, according to public reports, he has exhibited before. Child. She claimed to her followers on Monday. He convinced me of his sincerity, saying he had been single for a long time and open to a long term relationship. I believe in him, in the power of love, and the possibility of redemption. Well, look, man almost died. He got ran over by, what was it, a tractor trailer or snow plow or whatever. He almost died. It was a long road to recovery. I know he's not with his ex anymore. He has a 9-year-old daughter. There's a whole situation. So he probably was, now that he getting feeling down there, he was wanting to show off what he had. I'm making jokes. Okay, all the jokes aside, he was showing the peen and all the other stuff. It's like you can't be out here being inappropriate with people you work with if y'all not in a intimate relationship. And even though I am a man, what's with men and always sending people nudes? I mean, I know for the homosexuals, it's our official greeting. Like we don't say, "Hey, how are you?" We just send a dick or an ass pic. Yes, we do, and I'm telling all our business. So that's usually how it goes. And I said, I'm like, "Well, damn, you don't want my name? You don't want to know my name first? You want dick pic? Excuse you? Excuse you?" Theme song. Okay, so then Zhao also claimed that Renner soon entered into written agreements with her production company, but later refused to promote. Oh wait, oh yeah, I did read the other part because I was like, wait, did I miss something? Okay, so it said that they entered into written agreements with her production company, but later refused to promote their projects, instead denying any personal relationship or personal relation or professional collaboration. She said, quote, when I called him out privately about his past misconduct, excuse me, and asked him to behave properly, to respect me as a woman and a filmmaker, he threatened to call ICE on me. An act that deeply shocked and frightened me, Zhao alleged, adding that the misinformation and intimidation caused her personal and reputational harm. She went on to write that it took her a long time to feel the courage to speak up about such a pain and humiliation. Zhao expanded on her claims in an interview with the Daily Mail on Thursday, providing the outlet with a screenshot of a clip Renner allegedly sent her via WhatsApp in June. Well, some of the pictures I'm looking at, it says, "Oh damn, she sent a screenshot. It was like Jeremy Renner said, "What you doing, babe? I got home," and then it said, "Already that was fast, haha." And I guess took a picture of them eating something gross on the tray. There's a lot of green. Not that I don't eat greens, but that just look like some old nasty shit Hollywood people eat. Them, stay 2 pounds soaking wet. So they said the video, which depicted a male corn actor and a female corn actress engaging in a sexual act, was allegedly sent with the message, "Oh yes," and then had like a smiley face with his tongue hanging out. This okay? An emoji. Zhao claimed to have a collection of those photos and the porn gifs that he sent. She previously posted a picture of a man's naked torso on her IG story. Oh, damn, I wish I would have seen that. And I'm mad because I was trying to click over to the Daily Mail because they be having all the stuff. But when you go on their website where the article was linked, it's literally like they want you to pay money to read the article. So I can't even see the article. I don't know what all the because the Daily Mail always make jokes that I think the way they write their articles, they get paid by the word. Because they articles be going, it didn't even feel like an article. It feels like a goddamn novel. I'm like, this damn page, this story don't need to be 9 minutes long for me to read. Like, get to the damn point. But like I said before, I feel like they get paid by the word. So yeah, so she previously posted a picture of a man's naked torso on her IG story, alleging to the Daily Mail that it was a photo Renner had sent her unsolicited, saying, quote, "I did not reach out to him. He pursued me. I didn't even know his name, never watched a movie of his. He used me and denied our work." Zhao, who's 37, claimed that she and the actor, who's 54, dated for a period of time after he first contacted her. In September, she posted videos on IG of herself riding with him in his convertible car near his home in Reno, Nevada. However, one night in August, Zhao claimed to the Daily Mail that Renner allegedly got aggressively drunk during a work meeting at his house, saying, I was discussing dock logistics. Then he drank a bottle of wine alone and got angry and began angry yelling for 2 hours. I had two locations shared to my team, my parents, and Disney colleagues in case something happened to me so they knew where I was. Zhao claimed that she had to lock herself in a room to be safe and started praying he would not come in the room at night as he was really angry. She remained silent and recalled feeling scared for her life. She provided the Daily Mail with screenshots of messages she sent a colleague that night, writing that she was worried because Renner was allegedly being violent. However, she did assure the colleague that she would be okay staying at his place. First of all, I don't give a good goddamn. The minute I see any kind of red flag or a sign of somebody being hostile because he's an angry drunk, I'm not staying in that house. I'm gonna barricade myself. That's that same shit with that Derek Dixon and that what's her name? Miss Pastor Perry. Talking about, well, even though he was doing all the things, I'm gonna just lock myself in. No, I'm taking my shit. I'm calling the Uber and I'm leaving. I'm not staying up in that house. Like, I don't understand why people still trying to find the silver lining through a crazy red flag type situation. Because God forbid anything happen, then what? Oh, the because he's such a big A-list actor, Disney probably would have tried to cover it up until they wouldn't able to cover it up no more. Then they would have probably Jonathan Majors his ass. But hearing all this now, I kind of wonder if they're gonna go in the kind of handle him like Jonathan they did my Jonathan Majors because word on the curb is they talking about doing like another season of Hawkeye. I don't know if that may actually happen now, but that was the rumors that was floating around. But they said that is not going to be interconnected with the MCU and all that other stuff, so they might still welcome it. I mean, to be honest, I didn't think the first season of Hawkeye was all that good, so I just think leave it by the wayside. And I was really rooting for Jeremy to have his comeback. I know he's got Mayor of Kingstown. That's a really good show on Paramount Plus. The new season just started. And I was rooting for his comeback, but I'm like, I'm hoping this is not true. But if it is, child, you need to be dealt with accordingly. If you out here being inappropriate and threatening people and being the angry drunk, I wonder if that's the reason why he's no longer with his ex. All right. So then they also said sometime after their professional and personal relationship soured, Zhao allegedly told Renner in a WhatsApp message obtained by the Daily Mail, go to hell, you are a pig. You use all apps to send dick pics. Well, just leak them dick pics. I want to see them. I mean, all jokes aside, I am curious. Always been kind of curious to see what he working with. I mean, look, these celebrities gonna be. I've been saying a lot. We've seen Ben Affleck peeing. Remember that notorious video of David Boreanaz pleasuring himself to completion? I even got that video. That video went on for like a good 5 minutes. Yeah, Angel playing with his wings, with his buffinator. Okay, so let's get serious in all of this because I should not be making jokes in something this serious. But so Renner allegedly replied, "Immigration will be notified of your," and then it just then they said that it doesn't finish. So Zhao refused to provide the outlet with the rest of the message, which was cut off. When Zhao allegedly reached out to Renner about negative social media users accusing her of playing the victim, he allegedly responded that he does not know or control those people. That sounds like some damn gaslighting because I feel like if you're saying stuff online and social media is coming at her because they're a fan of his and they're excusing his behavior, you should speak out for those people. I mean, to defend her honor. But then again, remember one time, like when the Beehive be going in, they and I guess they told Beyonce to kind of nip them in the bud and gather her damn fans. And she tried to do that. And they told her shut the hell up, and she left them alone. Maybe that was another situation. It's like, would that even help? Zhao publicly gushed over her alleged relationship with Renner in mid-October, claiming to the Daily Mail that he had found new love with her. So damn, we're already in November, so this was like a fresh situation, but it just got crazy. Or is it that he was, or is this a situation of like, was he so hungry for a relationship because he had been single for a long time. And people get like that. When you've been in a relationship, when you have not been with somebody in a long time, excuse me, and you finally find love in a hopeless place, and then you get with that person, you start getting you start doing too much. It's like, okay, relax. Like, let's take it slow. Let's take it day by day. You don't need to be doing all this extra stuff. The obsessiveness, and then now you threatening me. I'm like, damn, how long y'all been together before he even started doing that? She said at the time, as a single man for many years, he has the liberty to decide how to live his personal life. If he wanted something short or casual, or if he preferred not to commit, that is his choice. Zhao went on to praise Renner's humility and willingness to reflect and grow, adding, even if a man buys you flowers, shoes, or bags, what does it mean if he's not willing to grow or change as a person? Well, a lot of times people do that. They feel like, and I feel like it's also a form of abuse and gaslighting. Oh, I'm gonna be mean to you and I'm gonna do all kinds of crazy shit or love bomb you, whatever. And then I flip out, you freak out, then I come back and it's like, oh, baby, I'm sorry. And then I shower you with flowers, bags, shoes, cars, material shit. Cardi B was going through that with Offset until she finally decided to part ways with him. But then she went again with Stephon Diggs, who we just heard the story that that baby that he had with that other woman. Oh, Maury done came into the room and said, Stephon, you are the father. So he got a baby with this other girl, and I think he was with Cardi at the time. But she's standing by her man. So um I will definitely be keeping abreast of the story as it develops. I will say this because I was wondering. I was like, is this the reason why he broke up with his ex-wife, I should say? Sonny Pacheco is her name. She actually accused him in 2019 court filings of substance abuse, threatening to kill her, and firing a gun with their daughter present, all of which Renner dismissed as nonsense. So, this is two women we've had that have come out and said, as we know so far, that have said things about Jeremy Renner and his hostile behavior. And talk about substance abuse, I would always look at Jeremy. He definitely always looked a little sweaty. Like, oh, you be doing some things. And I don't think it's just alcohol. You be inserting a lot of things in that body of yours. And you clearly somebody that don't know how to handle your high. So get it together, sir. You too old for this shit. In the words of Lethal Weapon, since we was mentioning that before I got to this topic. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story, this latest fresh news that came out about Jeremy Renner? I will definitely keep you abreast of the story as it develops because I'm like, it's quite interesting. And I'm shocked that somebody who I actually admire as an actor is getting caught up in these shenanigans. Like I was a fan of the Hurt Locker, and I like him as Hawkeye. I even liked him in the Bourne Legacy. They try to pass him off, like pass the torch to him from Matt Damon. He was in it with Rachel Weisz. Unfortunately, the movie didn't work, but he was good in it. So I've always been a Jeremy Renner fan. It's unfortunate that this is what you're doing in your personal life. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Mm, mm, You said that the celebrities exposed to me too. Just sent you something Justin Bieber said about Diddy. He actually said something. Jeremy's ex-wife been done told us he was cray cray. Threatened to call ICE as a major red flag, but yeah, if she had receipts, then why not go to the authorities? I just don't understand why everybody think, oh, I'm gonna go on social media and that'll be the end all be all, and people believe me. I'm like, why do we always have to spill tea on social media? Like, what is that gonna get you? Go to the authorities, follow report. If you got the receipts, I mean, if you're gonna go to a website and they're gonna like a Daily Mail or whatever, you're gonna go to a tabloid, they're gonna pay you some money for your story. Because no quiet as a who makes money from documentaries? So if you're gonna make money, if you need a way to sell your story, then do that. Child, not the worst Avenger pretending to be Thanos. Well, the way he was utilizing the Avengers, I will agree, he was the worst Avenger. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's like he's like, it's been a minute since somebody made him feel good. In the words of Halle Berry in Monsters Ball, it's been a minute since somebody made him feel good. So the minute that somebody made him feel good, he don't know what to do with himself. If the Diddy freak off names are not exposed, charged, and jailed from the top dog to the clients, the individual that watched kept it secret, nothing else matters or against the law. Jeremy was good as Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh, I forgot that he was in that. That was like before his career even took off. Yeah, I like Renner too. Not though we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you mean? But anyway, let me check and see what this situation is with I don't think that's it. I'm trying to look for this thing. And then they decided to open up when Torre told my Charlemagne dumbass because Mehdi Hassan had to explain. He's sitting there like, oh, I'm gonna blame the Democrats for why for the government shutdown. I'm like, are you stupid? You about as dumb as Andrew Schultz. Now I understand why them two got a show together. Okay. I'll Jack will write a mess. Well, I think there's a lot of people that still don't believe her in a lot of situations. They do, which is why we did a story the day before yesterday. I almost forgot I didn't do a show yesterday. This is what because I did the Giveon concert, which was actually pretty. He was good, but I'm like, there's too many slow jams up in here. But it was a good show. Who he was also nominated for a Grammy. I forgot to bring that up. Um, yeah, we did a story the day before yesterday where they said more Gen Z, like Gen Z, they tend to, and I think even now more people even do. Those who are more internet savvy. They said, well, we'll focus on Gen Z. They get a lot of their information. They prefer to watch TikTok videos and YouTube more so than traditional television. And I think that's where a lot of people get their information. So I do agree that people believe social media more than real life. But I do feel like those who get in this space, like myself, we have a responsibility to actually come on with the proper information. We can give our opinion about stuff, but if you want to come on, you can't just be talking and spewing shit based on vibes. You got to also know what the hell you're talking about. Speaking of which, I believe where was it? Was it China, Japan? One of them places. They were some other. There's a law that they've just put in place where if you're going to speak on serious topics, you have to have a degree. I was like, you know what? We need that in America, but they're not going to do that. Too many idiots got a social media platform. So, like, if you want to talk about like banking advice, mental health, anything to do with health in general, anything with or law, I definitely feel like you should have a degree in that department before you come out. Like if you want to do celebrity news and gossip, it don't take a rocket science to do that, a rocket scientist to do that. Um, but it definitely takes you got to have a certain vernacular to be able to pull that off and be able to deliver the news. But anything far more serious, especially if we talk about anything medical related, legal, anything in that department, I definitely feel like you should have a degree. Saying that the media, our so-called news, breaking news, what? Well, it depends on where you go to get your news. Where I go to get a lot of my stuff is from legitimate sources. I get it from actual trades. So if I'm bringing up stories, I'm getting it from People Magazine, Entertainment Weekly, Variety, Deadline. Those are like the majors. Rolling Stone, like actual journalists, or a lot of times I do Substacks, which of course, these are people who were former journalists or were in that whole realm that have decided to go rogue because they don't want to be cut by corporate media. So they've created Substacks. So if they did that in the US, 80, okay. Yeah, I just told you where you can get fact check news. And a lot of times, if they come out and they make a mistake, there are some, not all, that will actually correct themselves. Because I've seen them do that, especially like Variety or Deadline, where like, oh, we reported this thing and we had a check and there was actually a mistake in it. There are some that will correct themselves. That's why I said some, not all. You're right. So now, speaking of the diddler, let's talk about him. So Diddy got busted up in Fort Dix consuming alcohol. That headline just pretty much read itself. So, first of all, I didn't even know that he got transferred to Fort Dix. I'm like, where the hell was I? Because I remember at one point, remember on the show, we did talk about how he wanted to get transferred to what is it, like a low security prison or something or another? Like he wanted to get out of the metropolitan prison down in Brooklyn or whatever. I thought he was still there. So I guess I've been slipping in regards to my Diddy coverage. But child, they said that he was up in the clink consuming alcohol. And I think because he has a drug problem, and I think part of his thing was he's got to remain clean, he got busted. So, according to TMZ, they said the music mogul has been in trouble with prison officials at Fort Dix for consuming homemade alcohol. The outlet reported that the DIY recipe he was caught drinking involved sugar, Fanta soda, and apples, which are mixed and fermented for 2 weeks to make an alcoholic beverage. Officials at the low security prison where Combs, 56, is serving 4 years for prostitution related charges, had reportedly decided to move him from his old unit to a new one. However, multiple sources told the outlet that the decision has been reversed and he will remain in his original unit. So, see, you done fucked up the thing. Now you got to go back to your old unit. A prison official told the outlet that they had no information about the alleged incident. Page Six has reached out to reps for Combs. Prior to his sentencing last month, the Shondaron designer claimed in a letter to Judge Aaron Submaranian that he was sober for the first time in 25 years. Well, allegedly that didn't last long because you went and backslided, which I guess would happen when when you're in recovery. It's literally one day at a time, and sometimes we slip up. And I guess in prison, it is easy to kind of get caught up in some mess. But if you're trying to find a way, and remember, we've been talking about on the show how this man has been pulling so many stunts to try to get an early release and appeal his, the court ruling and all that other stuff. Um, this ain't it, because now they're gonna be like, okay, you definitely gonna be in jail for the duration of your term. But then again, I kind of felt that he was gonna be anyway, because when they revealed, I can't remember, but maybe it's in this article, but I can't remember off the top of my head, that they gave the exact release date that he's supposed to be getting out. So he said, I can't change the past, but I can change the future. This is what he wrote at the time while pleading for mercy. Well, look, I guess Mr. Submaranian knew what the hell he was doing because he was like, it's all performative. You full of shit. So I'm not buying it. Because if he would have gave you, that mercy that you was pleading for, then you would have pulled something like this. So now you're looking at it like, see, I knew my instincts was correct. And, with these judges, it ain't their first time at the rodeo. A lot of them know the deal because they dealing with, regardless of whatever your stature is, the pleadation always remains the same and how y'all come at these people is like, I've heard this song and dance so many times. It's kind of like when you work a job for a long time, you already know the same things that people are going to ask you or to say to you because you've been there, done that, you've seen it all. But they always think they're the first ones to do it. Then he went and said, I know that God put me here to transform me. Since incarceration, I have gone through a spiritual reset. I'm on a journey that will take time and hard work. I'm proud to say I'm working harder than I ever have before. I'm committed to the journey of remaining a drug free, nonviolent, and peaceful person. I thank God that I'm stronger, wiser, clean, clear, and sober. God makes no mistakes because you were born this way. Now, a day later, on October 3rd, the Manhattan federal court sentenced the I'll Be Missing You rapper to 4 years and 2 months in prison. So, like I said, Aaron Submaranian wasn't buying what he was selling, and he was ordered to participate in substance abuse and mental health programs and pay the court a $500,000 fine. So you're supposed to be taking these programs where you're supposed to be working on your mental health, and you're supposed to be taking substance abuse situations. Hopefully, excuse me, you have learned your lesson, and you're still working on your sobriety. I'm kind of wondering because they said that his birthday was on Tuesday, where he was basically, you want to know what his meal was? They said he was offered a choice between navy beans and cheese pizza. Ugh, sounds gross. For his birthday dinner, according to people. Navy beans and cheese pizza? The hell is that? And what do you put the navy beans on? The pizza? Oh no, you got to give me anchovies and black olives. But I guess, you get slim pickings when you're in jail. But I'm wondering if the drinking was in celebration of his birthday. And I understand, oh, it's your birthday and you want to celebrate, but you forgot where you was at. And I think with Diddy, that ego, sometimes you can't help it. The ego was always going to be the thing that gets you. The ego is what got your ass in jail. And now you behind bars drinking. So hopefully you get it together. Hopefully you continue to work on your sobriety. And I'm hoping that this whole situation doesn't cause then it'd be like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen to him. Was this a warning? What happens the next time he backslides and drinks? Does this mean that he could be he get an extension on his sentence? Does he get thrown in, excuse me, solitary confinement? Now, before I get up off this, apparently somebody said this, but I don't know if this is actually true. But they wrote best page, but it's spelled PXGE posted this, and it was on social media. So take this with a grain of salt. It's regarding Diddy and Justin Bieber. They said Justin Bieber just finally came out about what he went through when he hung out with Puff Daddy, aka Diddy. Justin Bieber tweeted and said, I'm not gonna lie, but hanging around Diddy and his freaky ass at the age I was on really messed me up. The guy bought 5 women just to me, and we got all what? The guy brought 5 women just for me, and we got all oiled up while he sat there and watched. 2 women were sucking my chest, another 2 my feet, and the other one my private part. And he just sat there and cheering them to do it harder. When we are done, he scooped what? He scooped the cum from the floor with a spoon and rubbed it on his chest, whispering, This is where you belong. Okay. First of all, I'm not buying this shit. There's no way in hell he posted this as a tweet. Said, This is where you belong, daddy. That really messes you up as a young man. Uh, Diddy saw Justin Bieber tweet, replied with, Back then, you ever begged me to watch. Please be honest now, zaddy. First of all, there's a lot of horrible ass writing up in here. There's no way in hell that child wrote that. You up in here making this shit up and had the nerve to put as some breaking news. So between the AI fake outs and the lies and stuff y'all posted up on there, like really, Justin ain't say that mess. So that's the latest on this whole Diddy situation. As I said before, hopefully he gets it together and don't sabotage your chances of completing your sentence. I do believe everybody has an opportunity for redemption, even though I still believe that Diddy ain't nothing but the damn devil and has wrecked a lot of people's lives. This is the opportunity for you to redeem yourself. Go on that road to redemption. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story about Diddy getting busted for consuming alcohol behind bars? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. That's why I said that. Fort Dix gets me every time. I'm so immature. I guess we all are. There used to be a gay bar in West Palm Beach called Fort Dix. I mean, that would be more appropriate for being in West Palm Beach. Fort Dix, because that's all that's up in there. A fort full of dicks. A fort full of dicks. This headline, latest Diddy headline, is a distraction from the trial and the actual accusations, evidence, more information. What trial? The trial's done. He's in jail. I don't know if I agree with that. It's an attempt to anger the people. He's taking the piss, so it's a joke. I don't think it's a joke. It's like if you up behind bars drinking and slipping up, Drinking what? The piss? He said it's not trending on Twitter at all, so this might be fan fiction. That's what I said. Justin ain't said that shit. Justin is not up in here. Justin, if Justin didn't talk about Diddy during the trial, he ain't gonna speak out now. He's over here wallowing in the success of the Grammy nominations. So I don't believe that story though at all. Based on the way it was written, I was like, he ain't said that. And first of all, how many women you gonna give me to? Oh, one woman on my nipple, one on my dick, one on my toe. Like, really? What kind of pretzel type shit you think they got going on? All right, y'all. So now let's get into some homosexual news. And let's talk about GLAAD and their latest poll regarding they do this thing called Where We Are on TV report. So apparently, especially with this current administration, it looks like the Levitical community is going through it, where we're starting to see less of ourselves being represented on screen. So, according to a report, shout out to the rap from this for this story, for the rap, which tracked regular and recurring LGBTQ plus characters that appeared during the 2024-2025 television season. Queer characters increased according platforms by 4%, bringing the total to 489. However, the Thursday report found that 41% of those characters will not return due to a series cancellations or endings, limited series formats, or a character's death or exit. While this year's study marks an increase after 2 years of decline, it remains far below the 2021-2022 record high of 637 LGBTQ plus characters on screen, saying, quote, there is a definite concern that it's not going to bounce back next year and see a growth just in terms of what's been announced up to this moment, GLAAD's Megan Townsend told the Wrap. We have not had a ton of announcements or news about new series and returning series within the research period that will make up for some of these losses, which is true because it's like we don't have a lot of shows. I mean, we have Boots. That's the only thing I can think of, but there aren't really a lot of queer centered shows. Or what's that show that is on Amazon Prime with Benito Skinner that just got a second season? That was the recent announcement they got a second season. So that's one show. I named two. I named that show with Boots. And I guess the final season of Stranger Things. But yeah, like they said, that show ain't coming back after this is done. Then they went on to mention trans characters. So trans characters may be especially at risk as their right to exist has been called into question under the second Trump administration. GLAAD counted 33 trans characters on TV this year, but only four appear on series that have been officially renewed, though the tally of trans characters increased by nine from the previous year. In fact, there was more trans characters counted than in the previous study, but 61% of those characters would not return due to series cancellations or endings. I remember also there were people, a bunch of turfs that were coming out talking about how, oh, well, it seems like now you don't hear a lot of people coming out as trans and stuff because then it's going to show that it was all a myth. It was all a trend. And it's like, no, under this current administration, you think trans people feel safe to actually get up on a poll and admit that now more than ever, especially with Gen Z, there are more people that are coming out and queer than any other demographic, more so than millennials, more so than Gen X, more so than boomers, and I guess what's left of the silent era. So there are more Gen Zers coming out as queer. But when it comes to these polls or whatever, yeah, if I'm not feeling safe as a trans person, why the fuck would I even admit that I'm trans? I'm gonna keep that shit secret until you know, I feel safe enough to do so. Now we got a recent thing where the administration is trying to prevent trans people from changing their gender on their passport. So this is the latest thing. I'll tell you their favorite sign when it comes to math or subtraction. They love taking shit away from people and offering no solution. So queer people of color made up of 51% of the LGBTQ plus characters on screen, a slight increase from last year, but there were steps back for specific ethnic groups, including Indigenous, Middle Eastern, North African, well, I should say Middle Eastern slash North African, and Black Levitical plus characters, each decreasing year over year. Well, yeah, well, quiet as it's kept, whenever it comes to queer people, it always seems like white people get to step to the front of the line, whereas more and more queer people of color continue to either be in the background or just be non-existent. So we definitely need to work on that. But they said nearly a third of non-Levitical plus Americans say that Levitical plus inclusive media has changed their perception of our community. Sarah K. Ellis, CEO and president of GLAAD, said, "Today we are at a critical juncture with hateful rhetoric running unchecked from politicians and news media and given a falsely amplified platform. Even as the majority of this country overwhelmingly supports the Levitical Plus community, with so many diverse, entertaining, and impactful series being canceled at an alarming rate, it is imperative that networks and streamers do not back down." And that's why I was saying, like, we need the networks to fight back more than ever. It seems like many of the work may be put on the shoulders of RuPaul's Drag Race, because RuPaul's Drag Race tends to be the only show where you get to see a diverse group of queer characters and they get to tell their stories and that other thing. So in between the shenanigans of the drama and everything else, we do get to see those personal moments between them. And it seems like it's going to be on their shoulders if we can't get other shows and streamers to be brave enough to tell the stories of all these diverse queer people, because I've always said that television has been the platform that people use to see people in a light that they would not normally encounter. When we were seeing trans people being seen more so as human beings, we were seeing that reflection. And I would even say, especially during the Biden administration, we were seeing more of that clarity. And even during, like, because didn't Pose come out during the Trump administration? But I think that show was on before he became president. So they were able to you were kind of able to see that shine through. So TV has always been, I felt like, a reflection of seeing those queer characters. Now it seems like because of situations, anytime you put any kind of queerness on TV, people want to complain. And especially when it comes to shows like The Last of Us. The first season with the gay guys, and then the second season with Ellie and, her hobnobbing with having her little girlfriend. So now, across the 8 major streaming services, GLAAD counted 372 Levitical plus characters, an increase from the previous study. As for scripted broadcasts, only 9.3% of the series regulars were LGBTQ plus. On primetime cable, there were 64 LGBTQ plus. Okay, I'm going to start using queer. I'm tired of using all of them damn acronyms. A decrease of 13 from the last study, but more than half of that representation came from FX and HBO alone. It's either I'm gonna use queer or Levitical. Levitical is basically how I pronounce LGBTQ plus as one word. Shout out to T.S. Madison, because that's where I got it from. Queer representation on linear television has continually declined, according to the report, saying, quote, "There are particular titles, particular showrunners, particular networks who are really kind of carrying a lot of weight. There is," and this is according to Townsend, "there is potential for a huge change year over year in numbers if a network cancels a particular title, or on the positive side, if they put a title with a queer ensemble into production. Shows like What We Do in the Shadows, they canceled that. English Teacher's supposed to get a second season. Grotesquerie was terrible, and that was on FX, made the network the second most inclusive with 17 Levitical plus characters. HBO emerged on top with 18 queer characters across The Last of Us, House of the Drag Queen, and Somebody Somewhere. One point of concern for the GLAAD team was the lack of Levitical plus characters. See, this is the part where I find it annoying, because I'm like, because they're talking about what HIV represented. So it's like, why we gotta put HIV people up on here? Because everybody look at us, that's the gay man disease. But they said something in the article that made a whole lot of sense. I'm like, okay, so I then I kind of looked the other way, because I think it's a traumatic situation for me, because growing up in the 90s and the 2000s, and me thinking that as a homosexual man, I was going to end up with HIV. because that was kind of like the stigma they put on all of us. Oh, we all gonna get AIDS and die. That was kind of like the narrative. But um that's all we would see on TV, and it kind of always felt like there was a sense of self-loathing that came with all of that. So that was always like a trauma situation. That's like, why is that always the thing? Like the only way gay people get to be represented is we got to be dying of AIDS and all that other stuff. And that we were bombarded with a lot of those movies, a lot of those storylines on TV shows, and all the things in between. But what I realized is that because I'm well versed in understanding HIV and all this stuff, especially me, my background of working in health. They're saying this younger generation, particularly Gen Z, are less knowledgeable about the disease than other generations. So when it comes to HIV stigma and representation, they need that because then a lot of Gen Z who watch a lot of TikTok videos and what they call them those micro episode type situations, if you incorporate that into a lot of the shows, that makes these kids be aware of, protecting themselves when they're getting into sexual relations or things of that nature. Because we definitely see a lot of, especially if you watch a lot of adult cinematography, a lot of barebacking goes on. And a lot of these young kids are naive that they don't think about the possibility that, yeah, you have an unprotected sex with someone who's not forthright about their sexual history. You can end up with the Rhea or the Idia and the Iphilus and the high five, which is the big one. So you can end up with all these different things, and people, or the herp, and some people don't be telling you their situation, and then here you go burning because you don't know the tea. And they're not teaching sex education to these kids because these ding that bat parents be thinking that, oh, you teaching them safe sex or sex education is basically promoting them to go out and have sex. No, it's letting them know because kids gonna do what they're gonna do regardless, especially with them hormones racing. So you either inform them so that way when they go out, they're prepared, or in the words of Usher, let them burn, let them burn, let them burn. So Townsend also noted that Gen Z stood out as the key demographic fueling demand for inclusive media, with 23% in the US identifying as libidical plus, which is what I said. There's more people, especially in the Gen Z demographic, that are coming out as queer than any other demographic. YA stories have continued to include libidical plus characters. Now, over 84 million American adults say they're more likely to watch a TV show if it features at least one queer character. The LGBTQ plus buying power in the US is an estimated 1.4 trillion and is set to grow, with 23% of Gen Z adults identifying as libidical plus, a number that continues to rise and which we see at similar levels across the globe. This audience has continued to tune in year after year, and who further support their favorite franchises through merch and experience purchases, social media, and more. So at the end of the day, people want to see themselves represented on TV. There's no agenda. There's nobody going to try to convert you, whatever the case is. We're not queer people are not a religion. Religious people try to convert you to their shit because they want your money. Being queer is in the DNA. It's something you can't change. It's part of who you are. So when people see themselves represented, especially when they're from a marginalized community, I feel like that helps them deal with things in life. And also those people who may not be familiar, it opens them up to some new kind of representation. So yeah, I know that was a lot, but hopefully things change, but who knows up under this administration. So yes, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? In regards of, the fact that queer representation on TV is on the decline. I think we need to do better. And I do definitely think that art, and many a times when we've been when you've dealt, especially when you look at history regarding art and fascism, whenever it's come to that, art has always pushed back against the establishment. And I think that's what people in film, television, music needs to push back against authoritarianism and things of that nature. And Just tell the stories that people want to be told, because at the end of the day, people just want to see themselves represented. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Well, hold on now, because we got a lot of comments. I haven't watched Boots yet. There's a lot of things occupying my attention, so I haven't gotten around to it. Oh yeah, Overcompensating. That was a show. I said with Benito Skinner. I knew the name, but I forgot the show. But yeah, that's on. That's getting a season two. Saying you liked it. Money makes the world go round. Sure does. But and But there's always a lot of expectations that go into queer shows. I need more gay content in my life, all aspects of my life. Nervous laughter. Roisin Murphy killed her. Okay. Um, and that's what I was thinking of when I was even talking about this particular topic, especially when I was mentioning turfs. Look at all the black rappers been in the closet. Okay, quiet as it's kept. There be a lot of them that be in there hunching on the low. The only black gay show we had for a while was Noah's Ark. Why not do a new one? I mean, they had the movie. I think they've been trying really hard to get the show up and running again. But I don't know what's going on with Paramount. Like, why y'all playing with Patrick and Polk? We definitely need more queer black representation. We definitely need more of those shows on TV. We haven't had that. That's been a void that has not been filled since Noah's Ark got canceled after its second season. But I do agree that, like Noah's Ark, the last movie I didn't like. I just felt like it was too she foo foo. Like it just did not feel realistic. I felt so disconnected from it. Like all the stuff in the past, I loved, and I also felt the movie was all over the place. So I wasn't really that happy with what they gave us. But it was, I mean, for the nostalgia aspect, I was happy to see the gang all back together. But storyline wise, it was like it was a chop. Not mad at Century Modern. You wasn't mad. Oh yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't good. I may have chuckled a few times. Linda Lavin was good, but she passed away. But overall, the show was trying so hard to be Golden Girls, and I was just like, y'all should just been yourselves. And it's been just three queer men of a certain age, you know, trying to find love in a hopeless place or whatever. They needed funnier writers. I kind of wish they would have had some edgier writers on the show. Like they were just trying to play. They were. It just felt a little too 80s and 90s sitcom for me without the laugh track. It just wasn't edgy enough. And I feel like in this day and age, queers could be a little more edgy with the jokes and stuff. Cable news doesn't feature trans stories anymore, which is melting turf brains. Who still watches cable news? F it, just greenlight a Midnighter and Apollo show. Look, I don't know what's going on with James Gunn and the whole authority situation. They tried to make it like a male Golden Girls. Yeah, it was a busy. That's why I'm doing a late show. I was like, I was not expecting to be up in here, um, doing a late show, but I was like, I have to get one for this weekend. Yeah, they did. Linda Lavin dying kind of ended the show really because she was one of the funniest people on the show. Agreed. And they tried to bring in the sister, but it wasn't good. Busy. I have no problem or opinion about anyone who is real and true to themselves. We are all unique humans and should feel comfortable and confident to be anything we want. Agreed. I definitely feel like people should be comfortable being who they are, but there are people out here who aren't comfortable and confident in who they are. So they want people to feel like them. So they make fun of people who are passionately and unapologetically them, which is why they pick on queer people and trans people. Okay. Yes, they are still D. Ellen. The D. Ellen DeGeneres. That you know what that should have been that'd be my drag name, D. Ellen DeGeneres. And he said the issue I have is the need to stand on a platform shouting, I am this, I am that, I will be accepted, I will fight. No need to tell the world, demand to be accepted. But you said, oh, no need to tell the world, demand to be accepted. Look, me, I'm different. Look, I always say, I don't need your I don't want you to accept me, but you will respect me though. Hmm. I'll celebrate who I am where I damn well please, even if it's on a platform, get used to it or not. That's a you problem. Now that's two snaps around the world in a twist. Remember that from Olympic Color? Gays have been the world life for years now and should be left alone as they have been for decades and not linked with today's society of events unfolding. Gays fought for long enough. Okay? No, they don't. No point. All right. So now, since we talk about people who need to be themselves, maybe she finally is. Let's talk about Kyle Richards. So I don't know if y'all saw that new trailer for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but yes, it's coming back next month. We got some new ladies up on there. There was some new chick. I don't remember her name, nor do I care. I feel like she's probably gonna be like the Diana of the season. I just feel like it's gonna be a one and done. She don't seem like I'm gonna really like her, but whatever. But so it's her and Rachel Zoe is joining the show. Now, we remember Rachel Zoe from the Rachel Zoe Project and how she was like the big Hollywood stylist. I used to like her show, the Rachel Zoe Project. I used to watch it. That's well, first of all, that's where we got two people, two homosexuals that we are aware of now. We got Brad, I'm gonna say Brad Stahelski. Um, is that his name? Damn, why I forget his name? Brad from the Canada Drag Race. So we got him because he was an assistant the first time. And then I think she fired him. And then Nate Burke's husband came in on that show, who was on Queer Eye, which I believe they're in their final season. So let's get into the story. So in the trailer, Richards, who has been tight-lipped about her love life since her split with Mauricio Umansky, who did pop up in the trailer on two occasions. He was wiping tears from Kyle's face. I'm like, y'all. I hope we not reigniting some stuff because Mauricio been cheating on you throughout your marriage, sis. I know you don't want to admit it, but allegedly he was. And then there was another scene where Dorit was having dinner with him, talking about PK, but whatever. So, um, yeah, for the past two seasons, she's been tight-lipped about her relationship, like where if she's with girls or she like guys, but it seemed like in the trailer she might have come out as bisexual. Bisexual. Now, since separated from her husband in 27 years, rumors have spread about Richards' sexuality, and she has been linked to country singer Morgan Wade, who she has insane chemistry with. The reality TV star has leaned into the fan speculation by posting photos sitting in Wade's lap, kissing her in a music video, and demonstrating scissoring on the show. Come on, scissor sister. So the trailer kicks off with castmate Bazoma St. John telling Richards that she's a girl's girl, but if they're going to be friends, she wants to know the information so I can also be helpful. The full context is missing, but Richards' response is revealing, saying, well, why don't you ask what you really want to ask? She asked before joking, I could go Brad, I could go Angelina. Well, I don't know if you want to go Brian or Angelina because there was a recent story that came out about Angelina Jolie in an email that she sent out where she said that her this whole back and forth with Brad and the whole divorce proceedings and the Mirrorball winery and everything is causing her to get sick. So she's talking about she's been getting ill, I guess, from the stress of it all. So so later in the trailer, Erica Jane, who also was on the show, seemed to encourage Richards to live her life with authenticity, saying, you need to get out there and do whatever makes you happy. Now, Richards addressed her sexuality for the first time in the season 14 reunion when she admitted that she's been questioning her sexuality, but this trailer is the first time she hinted at being bisexual. Well, here's the thing. She said that she's questioning it. I remember there was also a situation where she came out, I think on, I don't know if it was social media, I can't remember where it was, but she had come out and said something or another that she had talked to her daughters about, because I don't think she don't have no sons. So she talked to her daughters about, I guess, what's been going on in her personal life and how she's been feeling and things. And there are a lot of women, and she said that her daughters were very encouraging and they accepted her. But there are a lot of women who later in life, I think, and men too, who later in life start to, after they've been in long-term relationships with the opposite sex, they encounter a femagret, well, not a femagret, because I would say an AG, an aggressive lesbian, the ones that look butch. That's what we call them now. The AGs, they encounter these women and they're like, you know what? I'm kind of interested in exploring my sexuality. Niecy Nash did it, and now she married to a woman. All them years she was married to men, and then she was like, you know what? I encountered this woman. We developed feelings, and now this is where I'm at with it. And I feel like, you know what, Kyle, you've been loyal to your husband for how long is it? Almost 30 years. I think they were married. I think once the whole empty nest thing and everything happened, but then again, Portia's still relatively young. I don't think she's old enough to have gone off to college yet. But then I guess the husband was feeling his oats and wanted to go off to do other things. So you're at that age where you should be able to go out and explore your sexuality. And if it happens to be with a woman, by all means, why not? I mean, child, the women in Beverly Hills be doing far worse things than getting scissored by someone of the same gender. Not saying that being with someone of the same sex is worse, but they do all kinds of shit out there. Now, Andy Cohen, by the way, spoke for curious fans at the reunion when he said at some point Richards would either need to stop hinting or come out, and said, quote, I do just want to point out putting out a music video that is like the two of you as lovers, he said. It contributed so mightily to the conversation that was already a runaway train, and that was totally in her hands, I have to say. It's like at some point you can't have your cake and eat it too. I mean, sorry. And look at him trying to be all, demure and mindful about it, but he's correct. It's like when you're putting things out there that you're with this woman and she's on the show and y'all are being very flirty and you're doing the video, like this is stills from the video where you see on the right with them kind of embrace, like about to kiss or whatever. And if that's something you want to explore, then that's great. But yeah, you can't be on a reality show because it's supposed to be a reality show when you're supposed to be telling your life and you're not being transparent, you're not being forthcoming. So it's like, yeah, you have to come out with some more. You can't keep playing coy, you can't keep stringing us along. And I've been saying that for the longest, but I would get a lot of people that will push back on me. Somehow, well, she don't have to reveal stuff that she don't want to. I'm like, and this be from queer people, my fucking people saying this. I'm like, excuse you, no, y'all don't get to play in our sandbox and get to be coy about it. If you're gonna come over here on my side of the pond and dingle our berries, then I mean, yeah, you take time and figure out what you're doing, but don't play in the sandbox and then kind of tease it or use it as this little dangling fruit for a storyline. It's either you be forthright about it or keep it to yourself. Don't use it as a storyline. But then again, if you are in a reality show, you need to be giving us something about your life because that's what you signed up for when you get the millions to do these reality shows. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this upcoming season because the trailer looked really good. It looked like even Jennifer Tilly was pissed off at Sutton. So I'm like, damn, I want to know what happened with that because she said no one. She said, yeah, basically was hitting like you was the reason that Garcelle left. I'm like, damn, you that insufferable. So I'm definitely based off the trailer. I can't play it on here because they'll probably demonetize me or whatever. NBC Universal, we working my root canal nerve. If I show anything from them, they're always coming after me. So y'all just gonna have to, I don't know, Google Schmoogle, look it up. So I want to know if have you seen the trailer? What do you think of the upcoming season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? I have to say it looks pretty juicy. And so I'm looking forward to it because out of all the housewives, that's at this point the only one that I watch because they kind of give that whole lifestyles of the rich and famous glamour of it all, but the drama, I mean, but it's just um yeah, it's entertaining to me. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I knew that cough was coming. Child, I can't wait till this whole conversation room. This corporatization will be over. No surgery, no treatment, no interference until over 18. What are you talking about? Is trans? Look, I say parents, parents, y'all do whatever works for you in your situation. Two snaps, a twist, and a kiss. This is exactly my point. So, what she's bisexual and why is this news or anyone else's business? Why are people so desperate to know this information? You do know she's on a reality show, correct? So, if she is on a reality show and you are using this as a storyline, but you playing around and going back and forth, and at the end of the reunion, everybody sits down at on the couch and they talk about the stuff in the season. Andy Cohen has to ask the questions. So it is our business if you decide to make it our business. That's why it's our business. So um if you're posting things on social media, people are going to respond. This is basically the world in which we live. People put things out. If you're gaslighting, if you're doing this, that, and the other, people are going to talk about it. That's the job. That's part of the gig. But if you're trying to figure out what you're doing, if you're trying to figure out your sexuality, then if she don't want to have that a part of the show, then don't be on a reality show. Speaking of words, which I heard Chriselle from Selling Sunset, she's leaving since they got a woman in a relationship with a woman. The queer representation is leaving Selling Sunset. I think she was on there for 9 seasons. I haven't watched that show in a minute. The Michael trailer, even though it didn't give much, it looked pretty good. If somebody went and said, "Oh, he don't look nothing like Michael," I'm like, "Are you slow?" First of all, he looks like I'm like, that's his nephew. They all look fucking like. What are you talking about? But I know the overall complaint was over the nose. A lot of people was mad over that Nina Simone nose, and I'm talking about the Zoe Saldana Nina Simone nose that y'all wound up giving Jafar to look like Michael Jackson pre-nose job. I'm like, I am staying out of that one. Shut up. I mean, look, if it's fake, it's fake, but it's entertaining. I mean, it's improvised television. Yes, it's produced and everything, but a lot of the stuff that's going on is, for the most part, people's real lives. There are some people that fake it and do other stuff, but the Bravo stuff, them ladies are messy. Yeah. He said, and I'll say allegedly, even though I know when my eyes saw, okay, here you go being messy. But anyway, all right, y'all. So, oh yeah, isn't that on Discovery of Witches? Isn't that on Shutter? Yeah, I need to catch that or check that out. But I think I'm probably gonna watch Frankenstein since that's out with Jacob Elordi. I need to check that one out on Netflix. All right, y'all. So it looks like we're at the end of today's show. Um, Definitely. Thank you all for tuning in. The latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Love you all for watching. If you haven't, please, for one last time, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, smash the notification bell so that you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll be back on Monday with a brand new episode. Love you all for tuning in. Thank you all for the continued support and kicking with me in the comments. And until next time, ciao, darlings.